you ghost good guys?
Sometimes, like, the good guys, they're weird. Some good...
Wrong. The reason you ghost said good guys are because they are making it known to you of what they want. However, you want the same thing, just not from them. Stop pushing the narrative that you want good guys and take notes. You modern women want future, with Russell Wilson qualities. The truth is you're looking for external validation because you don't like what your homegirls think if you're with an average-looking male. As the Godfather Kevin Samuels said, single women keep women single. Stop looking for external validation or buy a dog and die alone.
Oh, I just broke up with one.
Why's that?
Because they're too needy.
What was he doing?
Asking to hang out.
Imagine trying to ask your girl to hang out.
Pass. Disgusting. Hard pass.
Why's that?
Because I don't got time to babysit a man's feelings.
I'm not really like attracted to them.
Why not?
I don't know, like when they give me too much attention, I'm like...
Four in the morning, you got me up, all cause you need to talk. To 4 in the evening, wanna break up, say that you've had enough. I'm tired of talking, again and again, argue about everything. You are my darling, this kiss and make up, I know you wanna touch. You call me every night, call me every day, I just wanna get you alone now. Trust me when I say, we gon' be okay, we just gotta boom bada boom ba. I don't wanna fight, you know that I'm right. Baby, let me talk to your body. We gon' be okay, hear me when I say.
Hit that like button. Go ahead, do it now, before I reach out into that screen and twist your hand like Aunt Esther. Hit the like button. Thank you. Destroy.
Got an itch in my palm. My girl, she know she the one. I put the ice on her hand, I put some ice on her arm. See me shining in the light, know you found me in the dark. Talking how you wanna leave, girl, you made this far. Taking trips overseas, no, I won't be long. We came up from the weeds, now it's top floor. All these big yes on her wrist, VVS is on her neck. Make it spin and I don't stress, when I make it stretch. Double back to back then, down broke, now we rich. Spend it on her, let her spin, down with me to the end. That my best friend, that my best friend, that my best friend. I'ma spend it on her, cause she all mine. Spend it on a challenge, cause she all mine. There for my first cake, then we hit on a cake. $500,000 on the way, then $1,000,000 on the way. Eating good, full plates, eating good, say grace. Eat her up, get thanks, she got cake birthday. I can't waste no way, I can't waste no play. My girl, whoa, whoa, something like the baddest chick. My girl, whoa, whoa, came from the rags to rich. Hit the road running, I had to tell her I had to get it. She understood, but she spoiled, so when she get mad, she dip. All these big yes on her wrist, VVS is on her neck. Make it spin and I don't stress, when I make it stretch. Double back to back end, down broke, now we rich. Spend it on her, let her spin, down with me to the end. That my best friend, that my best friend, that my best friend. I'ma spend it on her, cause she all mine. Spend it on a challenge, cause she all mine. All these big yes on her wrist, VVS is on her neck. Make it spin and I don't stress, when I make it stretch. Double back to back then, down broke, now we rich. Spend it on her, let her spin, down with me to the end. That my best friend, that my best friend, that my best friend. I'ma spend it on her, cause she all mine. All these big yes on her wrist, VVS is on her neck. Make it spin and I don't stress, spend it on a challenge, cause she all mine. That my best friend, that my best friend, that my best friend.
It's a hard thing to admit, but it's understandable why they would choose to go their own way. And that's what's scary, is there's actually a rational reason why they would do that.
Men going their own way. And you can think what you want about it, but this is a really big problem for women, for us, for our future, for families, for you to find a partner. If a population of good men are walking away because they're fed up with women.
If you're being told all your life that you are bad and wrong just for being a man, and that you have toxic masculinity for being a man, and that, you know, women, there's this famous expression that, you know, a woman needs a man just like a fish needs a bicycle. And that men are basically useless. And that men are terrible, and that, you know, women are superior.
Our society is very callous towards men. The only message most men hear in the world is that they're a bumbling buffoon. The TV shows are full of idiot men. Commercials show men as buffoons. The society is against them. All they hear about is what idiots men are.
It's the mass of women that are taking over the culture and representing women. They're loud. They're mean. They say they want equality. Why are they not protesting in the streets for the changing the laws for alimony or child support or child custody? Because they don't want equality. They want superiority.
The male gender has more of a slave state, and it's because men are now subjugated to the law and to women, and nobody really believes it except the men who go through, say, the court. But most men think that they're exempt from that until they end up in a bad situation.
So for a lot of the men, and a lot of them have gotten screwed over in terrible relationships and divorces, and gotten their kids taken away from them. So it's an understandable response.
In the United States of America, as a man, you can't speak up. I think most women tend to be very, I'm stereotyping, but they tend to be more collectivist. They tend to sort of be more in that socialist mindset. So I don't know that you're going to see a huge change. I think the change will have to come from men.
The lives of women will not change until the men get the opportunity to also examine and define and change their lives. In many ways, I sometimes think that the 20th century was the century where the women made all these massive changes, and the 21st century will be the changes that the men will make, partly in adapting to the changes that the women have done.
And those men are doing something about it. They're saying, you know what, I'm done with this. I'm not getting married, or I'm divorced. They don't sit around just trying to live their life through women. They actually have lots of hobbies. They go out, they buy that land you were talking about. They're out there getting motorcycles. They're having a good time, and they're enjoying life without having to deal with the stress of the women and the society that tells them they have to have a woman in their life.
How would you feel? I mean, you're not going to feel that attracted to a woman or care to be loving towards her or romantic towards her. So this men going their own way is a reaction to that. I really think it's a rational reaction to that. Men are finally like, hey, we've given you all you want. You know, you are equal in every way, and then you're still shaming us.
When you date a woman and she may be a potential wife, it's a competition thing all the way. I can't take it no more.
They feel propped up because they feel more beholden to the government. And then their man comes second. That's why they figure that they're strong, independent, don't need no man, because they have the government.
Because the men are failing us, to be honest. Guys thinking about themselves, and they'll think about you after you react.
You don't hear anything about being good wives and all the other stuff. What you hear is you're strong and you independent. You can do it on your own. You got black girl magic, black girl rock, but you ain't said nothing about black family.
My mother is like what they consider to be the strong black woman. I feel like I projected that onto the guys that I dated.
Ladies have no idea how stiff their competition really is. You have no clue how black men are viewed in the rest of the world. We are the #1 most sexually desired man on the face of this planet.
They would call Jesus Dusty if he was here living in America because of the gross narcissism that a lot of our women have. All right, guys. All right. We're going to have a great show on tonight. I promise you it's going to be a good one. You know, I'm at it again, guys, and the more things change, the more they remain the same. In recent news, Tia Mowry has more or less filed for divorce. And the reasoning for her filing for her divorce, some say it's irreconcilable differences. But others say that her husband cheated on her. And, if he cheated on her, perhaps she should dissolve the marriage. But we live in a world, guys, where women often file for divorce at a higher rate than men. And I told you guys, until she marches, until she go on Capitol Hill and change the laws that are more or less impacting men in a negative way, a man would be a fool if he's a single man, unless that woman is a righteous woman, is spiritual, and she strives to live for her husband, unless that woman grew up in a traditional family with a strong father, unless that woman has not been severely imprinted by multiple men, you would be a fool to get married in these modern times because it does not benefit men. There's no benefit for a man to get married. And see, what people don't understand, it's not just black men that are dealing with this. White men got it first from their women, and it trickled down to black women. And, it's an issue because it's impacting men in a negative way. Men are at risk of depression, suicidal ideation, and a myriad of things when they're at risk of also more or less going through a divorce. And, many times when men go through divorces, it hurt the kids
on one end, but it hurts that man irreparably because that man many times understand that he decided to leave that woman. It's a huge financial risk because the courts in many states do not benefit or support men when it comes down to no-fault divorce. Some of you men that are listening right now are in marriages and relationships that you would have left a long time ago. But because you are scared of the courts and how the courts more or less impact men, you said to yourself, well, you know, I want to get rid of it, but I can't do it because it's going to hit me in the pocketbook financially. And, you know, it's a shame that a man got to suffer in silence because he's dealing with laws that are not advantageous to men in general. And see, I tell men once again, until she marches, until she goes on Capitol Hill, until she works with her senators and she works with her legislators to change the laws in her country or change the laws in her state, it's not beneficial for a man to get married because it does not guarantee you anything many times but financial hardship, pain, and distress. Now, I need you guys to listen. Am I against the institution of marriage? No. Do I believe that marriage is a beautiful institution? Yes. Many men that are listening do want to get married because there are some benefits if the system more or less is beneficial to the man. But see, we live in a time now where it's no benefit because there is no accountability. And these stories continue to more or less circulate over and over and over and over. And it becomes evergreen content because the narrative have not changed over the span of time or in the last 10 to 15 to 20 years. Some would say it's gotten worse. And it's getting worse because there is no accountability. Now, I will say Tia Maurer, if her husband did cheat, then her moving on is justified. But see, we're going to dig a little deeper and ask ourselves the question, if that man did cheat, and I'm not saying cheating is justified per se, but how many men are in sexless marriages? Could it be said that he was in a sexless marriage? That, you know, the woman that pledged to love him, honor, and respect him as a man, and then more or less pledged to obey her husband. Well, we know many don't obey their husbands, but could it be that because of that situational scenario, he said, well, you know what? I'm not getting my needs taken care of, so I got to get them from somewhere else. Because see, guys, as a therapist, I heard men talk about many times in relationships where they're not getting intimacy from that woman. They haven't had sex in a long period of time. But see, because the laws don't benefit men and there is no accountability many times men feel like they have no other choice but to step out if that's what happened. I'm not saying that's what happened, but let's play the devil's advocate. Because see, she's going to always tell her side of the story, but many times we don't ask ourselves the question, what did he go through based on what she said and what she did? And that's the $1 million question. Irreconcilable. Irreconcilable marriages are a byproduct of no-fault divorce. And what no-fault divorce basically means is this. She can say, I'm just tired of being married. You know, I don't feel like being married no more. I don't love you, which is goofy. Because see, marriage is a business. There are going to be times you are in love. There are going to be times where you don't feel like loving that man or that woman. But anytime she says, I don't feel like it or I'm not in love anymore, it's best for me to move on, then she'll leave. Because I'm going to tell you something, guys, women are going to always do what's best for them. Sadly, it's just in their nature. Now, human beings are selfish, men and women. But when it comes down to their feelings, women tend to be more selfish, in my opinion. They're going to always do what's best for their feelings versus what's best for the mission because they're not disciplined. That's why I said she must be disciplined and she's going to be ready to be a man's wife. She must be disciplined. If she's not disciplined, she's not ready for the office of marriage. And we see it go on and on and on and on, guys. Some of you men right now, once again, are in relationships where you want to leave. You feel like you come at the wit's end and you're tired of being in that relationship, but you can't leave it because you're scared of the financial hit or you got children, so you got to stay longer. And you know, men become slaves when they're in relationships where they're not happy. Men become slaves at a woman's mercy because the law does not hold her accountable. You know how disrespectful it is for a man if he's married to a woman and at any point she say, I don't feel like being intimate. She says, my body. But when it comes down to you providing and protecting and defending that house, you're expected to be a man at all times. Men are so emasculated in America, and so many have been conditioned to be simps, they don't even know any better. Harriet Tubman said, I could have freed a lot more if they did not already know that they were slaves. That's how bad it is. Now, guys, I need you guys to do me a favor. Hit the like button. You guys are doing an awesome job to the 22 that are listening. Share the content. Let's get the stream popping on tonight. I might drop the link where we can have a conversation. Share the content and get the likes up. And also, guys, I want you guys to give me some input as I read through some of these comments. And we're going to get deeper into this discussion as it relates to Tia Mowry and why so many guys are filing not only for divorce, but the story goes on and on and on. Irreconcilable difference, or for whatever reason, many are ending marriages. And like I said, guys, it's dangerous for a man to get in that predicament in this day and age. Now, it's dangerous and it's serious to say the least, because that man can lose everything that he got. Shout out to my man XL Pro for that $5 cash app. I appreciate it, XL Pro. XL Pro is always showing love, man. I appreciate it. Without brothers like XL Pro, I don't know. But brothers like him more or less encourage me and other content creators to continue to push the narrative and push the initiative. And guys, I'm gonna tell you something. I'm so passionate about seeing men win. Whether you support it or not, I'm gonna keep talking, because, there are a lot of young men that are coming up that don't have fathers in the home. And they need to know how to circumnavigate and to deal with some of the things that could be more or less beset them as it relates to modern relationships and marriages. Some will argue that Kevin Samuels was the last hope for trying to be the glue to bring families and relationships together in America. But you guys know, and I know, it doesn't work. It's not advantageous to a man. And, Kevin was very noble in his pursuits. But if he was living, I would tell him respectfully, there's no benefit for men to get married here in modern America. He said, well, the laws ain't going to change. Well, regardless if they change or not, it's no benefit unless you get a comprehensive prenup in a state that more or less honor those prenups. But in general, you will be a fool to more or less get married in these states in modern times unless you get a woman that's 100% on your program. And even then, it's not a guarantee. Because with 80% of children being born and raised in single-parent homes, many of these women have not been socialized to honor and respect men. They have not been able to do it because they've never seen it. Many have been growing up in dysfunction for so long that anytime men speak and stand firm in masculinity, they call it toxic or they call it bad. And that's why men must do what's best for them. These are current, urgent times. And as I said earlier, white men got it from their women first. Yeah, white men got it from their women first. But now black men are getting it, because see, when white America gets a cold, black America gets the flu. And, men now got to be very vigilant and very diligent. That's why I said many times as men, we may not agree on all things or ideologies, but we need to come together as allies of a common cause. What is that common cause? The attack on masculinity, the unfairness of court systems. Men don't have voices, guilty until proven innocent. Whereas men, we may not agree on all things or ideologies, but we come together as allies. An ally don't necessarily have nothing in common, but we come together for a common cause, only to dissipate once the crisis is over. This crisis has been going on for a long time, and with this current administration in office, it's not going to benefit us as men. Now, once again, we know the guys that got passports does not necessarily mean that women abroad are perfect. I keep telling people that. But I think the options are superior for men to travel abroad and get wives. They are traditional. They have been conditioned to honor and respect men, where the laws are not against men, where the men can be treated and respected like men. You men have been in situations where you've been so conditioned to dysfunction that when you get a woman that's honorable, when you get a little love and affection, you don't know how to take it, because you've been in such a state of suspended animation that disrespect is your norm. You have been conditioned to more or less internalize disrespect instead of being conditioned to get honor and respect. Many of you men that are listening right now, you over-identify with your mothers and many of the women in your family. And I'm not saying this against nothing. There's nothing wrong with loving your mom, don't get me wrong. But you are a man. You should never over-identify with a woman's feelings. The only time you should over-identify is when you over-identify with your purpose and your mission as a man. That's the only time you should over-identify. If that supersedes your purpose and your mission, then that's a problem. That's the only time you should over-identify. Because you're so in love with your purpose and your mission, nothing can get you off your square. And many men has fallen astray, or many men have fallen by the wayside because we thought that was the right thing to do. But like, I'm going to challenge you on tonight to start loving yourself, to start living your life on your own terms. Because let me tell you something, marriages are killing many men. Many men are going through mental health crisis. I'm trying to tell you guys, I see it all the time in practice. Men that are dealing with cantankerous women, women that are not cooperative, women that are masculine, women that want to control them. And so many men got their testicles in a jar that they cannot be men. And it's not healthy. It's not right. Because see, the churches are not talking about it. The churches are not talking about the rights of men because the churches are too busy getting their pocketbooks fed. I'm not saying all churches. I'm sure there's some good churches, but by and large, the majority are not talking about issues pertinent to masculinity and mental health. What they're talking about, though, is prosperity, how to get a car and name it and claim it, blab it and grab it. But they want to shut you up and make you be quiet. They don't want you to live your life on your own terms. They don't want you to be happy. I got a brother right now, Top Gun. That brother makes good money. I'm not going to say how much money he makes. But a brother like him got to prove his worth, even though that brother makes probably well over 6 figures when he needs to make it. But he got to prove his worth to something that's not even worthy of him. My day, I just left coming back from Eastern North Carolina a couple of minutes ago, about 2 hours ago. And my dad worked in a paper mill. My mom could respect that. But guess what? My mom was a traditional woman. She was a virgin. She didn't have no kids. And she, for the most part, was ready to be a wife. But see, you got chicks now, got 7 to 8 kids by different men, had a lot of fun, severely overweight, not feminine. If they don't have kids, they've been, highly promiscuous. But, they want you to talk about, well, you don't make enough money. You got to have 6 figures. You got to make 80,000. That's not enough. But what are you giving him in return? But baggage and attitude and stress and debt and Raekwon and Man's children. But you want men to give their best to you, but you not give him anything in return, which in essence is a mental deficit. In the meantime, let me read through some of these comments, guys, real quick, because we're going to get it popping on tonight. Shout out to Byron Hammer TV. He said, salute to Coach Condition, Top Gun. Shout out to Mango International Lover. How you doing, brother? He said, I'd rather enjoy 5 mangoes than deal with stress and heartache. At the end of the day, I paid them to leave. Shout out to my man, International Mango. Shout out to that brother. International Mango also said, I'd rather deal with 5 mangoes at the end of the day, no doubt. I paid them to leave, even swap or swindle, no doubt, brother. I appreciate that, Fine Mango. Lavador Attribute is greeting as the sound volume goes low as you turn your face from the mic. Yeah, I know it does, man, yeah. This mic is very sensitive, so you got to speak directly into it. It fades back and forth, but hopefully I can get it working. All right, that should do it. That should do it. Hopefully it'll do it. Right, Hassan McMillan said, if Tom Brady got divorced, what chance does any man have? Right, it's never enough. And I'm going to do a show on that tomorrow because many of these women are dream destroyers. They seek to destroy your dreams as a man. And that's why I said you got to be in love with your purpose and your mission more than being in love with her. Because see, she want to do what's best for her, but she want to control you and tell you what to do. And let me tell you guys something. Many of these women will tell you, I don't want to control the man, but they're trying to control you. They'll tell you how to be a man, which is an insult. Our grandfathers would have never allowed our grandmothers to tell us how to be men. Those men were men, and those women respected those men because they knew it was a consequence if they didn't respect them. But now you got men that's so timid and goofy that anytime that woman says something, they bow down and drag their knuckles because they don't know any better. And so many men have been conditioned, and I mean they've been conditioned harshly, to be simps that when men begin to speak out and say what they want and what they want to do, all of a sudden you got these simp servers all across the internet causing chaos. I'm saying this.
These men are coming together They must be stopped. Who hurt these petty fools? Their mama is black. Who hurt them? They must be gay. I must go cause confusion.
Yeah, Suave, you're right. They want a leader they can control. They don't want a leader for the sake of him being just a said leader, but they want a leader that they can control. They want a leader that falls under their authority. They don't want that man to be a leader for the sake of being a leader. They want a leader that they can control. And when they can control that said leader, then all of a sudden they'll say that man is overbearing or he's toxic or or he doesn't listen or whatever. They don't want a man to be the leader for the sake of being a leader. But when men decide to go abroad and get women that have been trained and conditioned to be wise, they have soft voices like Gail Nelson and other sisters in this space, then all of a sudden it's a problem. Men are very simple. We just want honor and respect. We want to be loved. Because see, when a man is being honored and respected, he lives longer. Did you guys not know that men tend to die off faster than women? We die off faster because of stress. We die off faster because of stress, lack of rest, dealing with a hard-headed, cantankerous woman. You out here busting your ASS trying to be a good husband provider, but they causing chaos or doing things behind your back. But they'll say, oh, I love the law, I love Jesus, but you're causing chaos. And the same Lord that you said you love said honor and respect your husband. And that's why so many men, when they go abroad and they leave America, they feel feel such joy and relief because they're no longer under the canopy of distress. They are happy, they're free. They're no longer distressed. Shout out to my man, Dwayne Brown, for the $5 super sticker. Thank you, Dwayne Brown. I appreciate it for the cash out. Thank you, Dwayne Brown. I appreciate it, brother. And also to the guys that are more or less listening to the stream. If you guys have not donated to the channel, donate to the channel. But in the meantime, share the content, and we're going to chop it up. It's going to be a good stream on tonight. I got a show for you guys on tomorrow, and I got an even better one on Saturday, and might do another one on Sunday. Because I want you guys to see the causal chain that's happening here in America with modern dating and relationships. I'm not against marriage. Let me say it again. I'm not against it. I think marriage is beautiful. But the current laws and the current system does not support or benefit men. Men would be fools. And they'll say, well, you can't beat the law, but you'll be a fool. They got laws now that says if a woman get pregnant, while that woman has that seed in her stomach, that man got to pay child support, but that may not be his child. So I'm gonna say it again: until women march, until they get ready to march on Capitol Hill, until they talk to legislators in their states, until they talk to the lawmakers, until they talk to the judges, until they come together as a coalition to more or less do what's best for men, then don't get married. Because you can't do it for no black love, and you can't do it for a black community, because the black community does not support black men. They want black men only in servitude. That's what they want you for being a servant. And, I believe that your service is expensive. Your time is expensive. Your freedom is important, and so is your peace of mind. And just to serve for the sake of serving all in the name of community, you would be a fool, because black people are not monolithic, never have been monolithic. But they'll tell you, well, you just do it for, we just do it for the community. No, we're not doing that for no damn community. We're not going to do it for no community. If you're not marching, if you're not working with lawmakers to change these draconian laws that impact, and archaic laws that impact men, don't tell nobody about no damn black love or no community. I'm not against it. I'm not against it. I do believe in it. But until you're willing to march to change the laws, don't tell black men about marching or any other such thing. Because once again, it's not beneficial to the psyche of a man. Once again, when men go do divorces, especially no-fault divorces, they are more at risk for suicide, domestic violence, mental health distress, and also self-deletion. Self-deletion. And also financial hardship. And many times the courts do not support men. So men would be fools to get married based on irreconcilable differences. What does that mean? Because irreconcilable for men and women might be, I don't love you anymore. What does that mean? You know, I don't love you anymore. I love you, but I'm not in love. What does that mean? Because once again, you know, love can be very fickle. It's fickle. It's very fickle. You should never get married based on love alone. Love is part of it. But you should get married based for legacy and children and building communities through legacy and children. But how can you do that when she don't feel like loving you anymore? She can just get a divorce. You will be a fool. You will be a fool, especially to the hardworking men. They got money and something to lose. Because I'm going to tell you something, guys. The reason why some of these women are getting frustrated about you traveling abroad, she wants you to be her supply man. She don't really want you. She just wants you to be the supply man. It makes her feel good that you can orbit around her and give her validation and attention. It's part of that narcissistic trait that I've been talking about. A narcissistic trait does not mean that she have narcissism, but she has those traits. And so you would be a fool to invest in something that's not more or less benefit you. Investments make a lot of sense. And, you know, some call it hoflation. They say, you know, it's gotten so bad, you know, that some of these 304s, you know, they want benefits. You know, they want benefits, but they don't have any virtue. And so they've risen the cost of their said value when their value is low, and they expect you to pay for it because they want you to be a rat. Yeah, she wants you to be a rat, guys. She wants you to be an American rat, a rat to the American government, and a rat to her. Because this is what she wants, guys. She wants your resources. She wants your attention. She wants your time. She wants security and settlement for sex that she gave to Day Day, Sure Mike, Man Man, and Raekwon for free. She wants you to be a rat. And once you become a rat, guys, this is what you're going to be doing in the relationship because you can never please her. But you're going to be in the Ferris wheel going on and on and on, trying to please a woman that has not been conditioned to honor and respect you because she is a slave to her feelings. Yeah, you know, and it's not, you know, you got black and white rats in that Ferris wheel. White men are going to do it too. White men got it first. And you know, you got white rats, you got brown rats, and also you got brown rats. White, black, and brown rats in that Ferris wheel. In that so-called karmic cycle where they can never get out of. You can never please her. You can buy you can buy a $500,000 house. You'll never please her. You can buy her a car. You'll never please. That's why some people say, well, you just got to give her money. Money alone will not more or less make a woman respect you and honor you. She will play you until she get rid of your goofy behind. Am I saying can money work? Yes, money can work. But there are too many variables that must be in place. One, you got to be her number one selection. If you want her number one selection, you got money. She's just using you as a way to benefit her. Now, if you were her number one selection, then the odds that she might fall in line are greater if you were the one that she really wanted. But if you weren't the one that she really wanted, she just used you for a resource. Like they call it a lick. And a lick basically just somebody that's been manipulated for their money. You're just a lick. Anytime a lion get a predator, guys, what does a lion do when they get a predator or a hyena? It will destroy the weaker prey. And once they capture the weaker prey, it begins to elix them. That's why it's called a lick. They'll lick them because they have conquered that goofy prey. Lions don't, hyenas don't mess with lions because they know lions are not licks. But a hyena, guys, and we will say a hyena, will get a weak man that's a simp, a man that doesn't know any better. That's what a hyena would do. But you guys sit up and give your virtue and your power away to women that have not been conditioned to honor and respect you as a man. And we're going to get into the story about Tia Mowry in a minute. Then we're going to look at some video clips from Rollo Tomasi. But also the story talking about marriages are killing men. Marriages are killing a lot of men. They are dying slowly because of marriage. You see, marriage, God, is supposed to be an asset to your life, not a stressor. But the Bible said that a quarrelsome and contentious woman will run a man to the rooftop. Look at what's going on with Tom Brady right now. And I'm going to do a show on it tomorrow. This woman wants Tom Brady to more or less bow to her will. She wants Tom Brady to, quit football. And I get it to some degree from health issues to some degree, but it's not your mission to tell your husband what to do because he watched this. If Tom Brady can quit playing football, she's not going to quit being a supermodel. She's not going to quit being a supermodel. And what she don't understand is this: Tom Brady is a Leo. Tom Brady is a masculine man. Tom Brady is competitive. You don't tell Leo men what to do. Leo men do what they want to do. You're not going to tell Tom Brady what to do because his will is too strong. He's a competitor. He's a fighter like me. So she's not going to tell Tom Brady what to do. Because a woman shouldn't be telling that man what to do, giving him ultimatums. She knew he was a football player when she married him. He understands the game for the most part. He got to understand the risk that he's taking. But many times these women, when they're in relationships, especially athletes, the marriage dissolves anyway because the man is already gone. They realize once they come together after the careers is over, they don't have nothing in common. But you want men to do what you want to do because she said irreconcilable. But once again, guys, I promise you she has not told her side of the story. She hasn't told what she did wrong in that relationship. I'm not saying infidelity is right, but many women push men in the arms of another woman. The Bible clearly said it better than me. He said the only time you should more or less refrain from sexual intercourse from your husband is when you are fasting and praying, if you're a Christian. And even if you ain't a Christian, you shouldn't refrain. Keep your man in a state of suspended animation. And then he said, hurry up and come back together so that the devil don't come into that relationship. I like something Gail Nelson said, and Gail Nelson is correct. We need more women like her. She said, unless you're sick or there's a medical reason, you should never not give your husband sex. And I agree with Gail Nelson 1,000%. But you got these meatballs say, oh, it's my body. If I don't want to give him no sex, I won't do it. Okay, fine. Don't get mad when you go ahead and get it from somewhere else. Because it's going to be a cold day in hell if you think I'm going to provide and protect and bust my ass and you're going to pick and choose when you're going to give me some sex. I will kick your ass out of this house if you try that with me. That ain't going to work with me. It's not a woman on this planet that's greater than me. It's not a woman on this planet that I value more than myself. And that's how you should be, men. Value and love yourself. Because, see, remember, she gave it to Raekwon the Madman for free. They didn't even put a ring on her finger. She gave it to them for free. But you got to work for sex in a relationship to a woman that said she was going to honor and respect you, and that dirty word that used to be in the vows, obey. But they'll tell you, get married. Get married for what? What are you getting? What are you getting now to a single man that got money and resources and assets? By and large, I'm not saying there are not some decent, there are a few good gems out here, but for a traditional man that got high standards, we're not talking about any standards. A traditional man with high standards, normally want a woman with low bodies, no kids, wife ready, she's fit, she's cooperative, she know how to get it in. Men start taking bad deals. Because once again, she don't want you to judge her for her past, but she's going to judge you for your future because she want a man that can make money. That's why I always said, man, I respect Anton. Because Anton hit the jackpot when he got Rita, he hit the jackpot. But see, Anton is the exception to the rule. He's not the rule. He got a fine, fit, proper virgin. How many men can say they can find that? You can't find them. But the gold standard years ago, you had to be a virgin if you want all of the benefits of a traditional marriage. Many times you didn't have to. You shouldn't have had kids. But you want men to pay all the bills, but you had a lot of fun. I'm not saying I won't pay some of the bills, but if you're not a virgin, I'm not paying all those damn bills. We're going to prorate it. We're going to prorate that relationship, boo. That's me. But I was listening to the brother Ricky Williams. He was talking about, and I'm going to play that clip too. He was talking about the situation that he was in. And he was talking about the lack of respect that he got as a man. Actually, I'm going to play that clip tonight. But all based on what's called irreconcilable differences. Irreconcilable. Because she don't want to reconcile the relationship. Basically, no-fault divorce. Let me read some of these guys. Shout out to my man Top Gun. Top Gun said that if he wasn't Tom Brady, they wouldn't be married. No doubt, brother. You're 1,000% correct. That's an excellent point. You're right, but I didn't even think of it like that. You're right. If he wasn't Tom Brady, you're right, Top Gun, they wouldn't even be married. But now all of a sudden, you want to tell him how to live his life. They always want to micromanage your life, guys. Don't want you to be a man, but they want you to be a man based on how they feel, which basically is a Mitch. She wants you to be a Mitch. She wants you to do what she wants you to do based on how she feel. She don't want you to do what's best for you based on masculinity. But she wants you to be a Mitch. Gregory Scotland said, Coach, you are right. Men need to be cautious about engaging these modern women. Many look at men as tools. Right. Look at the latest video where black women are saying no voting, no. I gotta check that out, man. I gotta check that out, brother. I gotta check that out. I've been hearing about that. I'm gonna check that out. Thank you, Gregory Scotland. I appreciate it, brother. Gregory Scotland also said, what is curious is that some of the same women who withhold sex in marriage, but was on her back several times before she became a wife. Yeah. But they're still on their ASS is talking about, it's my body. And you stuck in a BS marriage. And you dragging your knuckles. She's telling you what to do. And that's why I'm so passionate about what I do. You are a man. You're not no damn cream puff. You're a man. Being a man is hard. Being a man is stressful. But you got children and women trying to tell men how to be men. And you got these old goofy simps that don't know any better that just do what that woman say. Well, I'm going to do what she's a queen. I'm going to do what my queen say. But she don't respect you as a man. Goofy. And I don't like to use that kind of language, but I'm passionate because I don't like seeing men in no damn broken position. Stand up firm and be a man. Straighten your shoulders out. And if you start the relationship off without being a dominant masculine man, it might be too late. You might have to get rid of her. But if the relationship can be salvaged, then stand firm as a man. But then you got women using sex to control men, telling men if you don't vote, you're not getting any sex. I would say, fine, boo, fine. I'll show you what I can do. But men gotta always walk around scared and afraid when you were made first. She came out of you. That's like a parent being afraid of a child. Something that they created together. But that parent walking around and saying, well, I'm scared because my child might get mad. I don't give a damn about no child getting mad. I wish one of my kids would try me. Or get in my face. I don't give a damn about no kids. That kid came out of me. But you got folks in their houses, they are scared of their wife and their children. These men are. Weak. Very weak men. Don't have no bass in their voice. And when you do stand up firm and strong and speak your voice like a man, they'll try to shame you into silence and try to make you become less than. But these are the same women that practice what's called biblical a la carte. They pick and choose what verses they want to live by. They pick and choose the scripture that benefit them. When you try to lead them in the proper direction, they don't want to hear the truth because their feelings matter more than the objective truth. They want a gospel based on how they feel. I don't feel like living right. I don't feel like following his lead because it's in her nature to rebel against order. That's why it takes a spiritual woman and a godly woman that knows what her worth is and knows how to fall into order. But you got men fulfilling their careers and fulfilling their health. I'm trying to please her. But when you hear men talk about what are you going to do that's going to benefit men, they don't have nothing to say. I'm going to tell you again, man, your worth is too important. Your value is too important, especially if you've done the work. And I'm talking about those brothers that make $40,000 a year. Because we always denigrate men based on how much money they make. But let a man say he don't want a woman that's a behemoth. Let a man that say he don't want a woman that got kids by multiple men. Let a man say he don't want a woman that's disrespectful, overweight, and got an attitude. Or had a lot of fun. Oh, you're bashing. But you don't say anything when you bash men based on their height, their money, their phallus size, and their height. You don't say anything about that. And that's how screwed up this world is, where the women are telling us what to do. That's why they get mad at some of these brothers that are getting their passports and moving on. Because they want the men to do what's best for them. instead of men doing what's best for themselves. That's why I advocate for men to travel abroad with the understanding that if you're a simp here in America, you will be a simp abroad. But once you get the mental work done and understand how to broker for power, you'll be in the right state of mind. But then you got men going abroad, you can't even go abroad. There's, you just going over there, I'm tricking. But you got these same fat white women going to Gambia and all other parts of the world. And I did a show on that earlier when I talked about passport pirates, keep men names in their mouths. I talked about that. To the point that the Gambia officials are telling those women to stop coming to Gambia, messing with them young boys. But nobody won't say nothing about that. But you got these goofy fools always on the internet trying to tell men what to do. But won't say nothing about that. You didn't say nothing about the black women that were going to Negril, Jamaica, and other parts of the world getting their groove on. Didn't say nothing about that. You didn't say nothing. You didn't say nothing to them. You didn't say anything to those women when they were going abroad getting their backs blown out. Didn't say nothing to white men when they were going to India, going to Asia, Africa, Brazil, South America, going all across the globe. You didn't say nothing to the white men. But soon as black men do, they just trick and they fat and they got bald heads and, they don't have any game, they can't get women because they ain't got skills. You can't make this ish up. But then folks will get mad at me, but yet the churches won't talk about it because the churches are more concerned about their pocketbooks. So guess what? I'll be the clarion caller. I'll be that lone wolf or that lone ranger with the light in the midst of the darkness trying to lead men to victory and telling men what their worth is because they didn't have fathers to tell them what their worth is because they over-identify with their mothers. That's what happens when you don't have balance of masculine and feminine. There's no balance, and when there's no balance, there's chaos. And there's chaos now, guys, because there is no balance. There ain't no balance. There ain't no balance, guys. There ain't no balance. And that's why I tell men like Mr. Palmer said, you got to change the law in your mind. You must change the law in your mind. And when it comes down to dealing with some of these modern women, guys, y'all know it better than me. And Bruce Lee said it better than me. You got to be just like water.
That's ISO. Rack it up, I got a bit of the bank to make me a safe house. Shake it up, she got her hands on her knees.
And see, guys, when you're like water, when it comes down to those principles that are pertinent to masculinity, you're just fluid. You let it roll off your back. You don't even let it phase you. But when it comes down to taking a stand as a man, you must be a force. And you got to have mental kung fu at all times with modern women. Mental kung fu. You got to know how to defend and deflect and more or less stand firm in your position. Because there are many hyenas, males and females, with their dirty behinds trying to more or less get you off your square as a man. Trying to shame you back into submission. With these goofballs telling you, talking about if you don't vote, no sex. And you know what, guys, what I would do? I would say, fine. I think all men should do, say, passports and pearls. That's my new hashtag, like I told you guys. Passports and pearls. What men should do, say, fine, when it come time for voting, we should get at least 200 men to get on a damn plane and go travel abroad and say, now what? Because, see, you got to deal with women based on power. That's all they respect. But, see, she got you now, and she got you under her power. Because many of you men are spellbound. You're spellbound. You don't know any better. You're in these bad marriages where you haven't had sex in months and years, and you're spellbound. You're spellbound because she's setting up ways to control you as a man. And the reason why you're being controlled because you don't know what your worth is. And that's why we got to have these conversations so that you can't be this. Man, Dwayne Brown for that $5 cash. I thank you, Dwayne Brown. I appreciate it, brother, for showing love and support. Thank you, sir. Your kindness is great. I appreciate it. Shout out also to the Real Blackula. The Real Blackula said, at the Kosher Clinician King, what country outside the U.S. besides Brazil would you recommend for a sexy woman? Well, I haven't had a lot of travel, but I heard to the single man, Burundi, Colombia, from what I've heard, Kenya, Nigeria, South Africa, Ghana, definitely. It just depends on what your flavor is. If you want a black woman, if you're a single man. But I heard those countries are nice places for men to go to. And I'm going to tell you guys something. When you get a feminine woman, man, Senegal too, don't sleep on Senegal. Dr. Neal's in Senegal right now. But when you get a feminine woman that knows how to cooperate and respect you as a man, and she's a good cook and giving you good loving, you'll be so much more productive. And like I said before, it's not that the men don't want to get married. They want to get married. But what they're saying is that here in America, it is no benefit. Why would I get married to mediocrity? I'm going to give my best to mediocrity. It doesn't make any sense. And I count it a pleasure to serve you brothers, especially the young ones. And I'm so proud of these young men for finally living their lives on their own terms, saying, I'm not going to take bad deals anymore. But in the meantime, guys, I want to show you guys something. Let's read this, what this whole fiasco with Tia Mowry. And shout out to my man, Brandon Jett. Yeah, I'm trying to cook tonight, Brandon Jett. Yeah, I got the swirl of Damocles in my hand over the heads, no doubt. No doubt, Walter Salter. Yeah, dog. I don't know. I got something that Jehu spirit came over me. Shout out to Gail Nuss. She said I did a video, coach. A lot of women going overseas get pregnant and leave the children at the local orphanage of that country. Right. But see, they don't talk about that. But they shaming you, and these old goofy simps coming on other men's platforms trying to shame them as well, talking about what men are doing. And many times, guys, the same thing they're accusing you of doing, they're doing it themselves. In the clinical world, we call it classic projection or reaction formation. Reaction formation says, well, I don't want you to leave. You can go ahead and leave. But in actuality, it's really a form of reverse psychology. She really wants you to stay. Yeah, Brandon J., I'm cooking some fried chicken tonight, man, but I'm using peanut oil. I'm using peanut oil, Brandon Jett tonight, brother. And thank you, Brandon Jett, for your support, man. I appreciate it, man. You always showing love and support. Thank you, Brandon. I appreciate it 1,000%, brother. But we're going to get right into it, guy, with this Tia Mowry fiasco. I'm going to show you guys something real quick. Hold tight. And we're going to get deep into it on tonight because these conversations are important. Right, Byron Hammer TV. Reclaim your masculinity. # reclaim your masculinity. No doubt. I totally agree with you. But I'm going to show you guys something. Where's the share button at? I'm going to show you guys something real quick. Okay, what happened to the share button? I don't know what happened to the share button, guys. Oh, here we go. So I want to share something with you guys real quick about this situation with Tia Mowry and her husband. I'm going to read them. You guys tell me what you think. Hold tight. Let me share this screen. And guys, get the likes up for me, please. I appreciate you all support. Thank you to everyone that's donated on tonight. Thank you guys. Love and respect you guys. But let me show you guys something real quick. Hold tight. And let's look at this Tia Mowry fiasco, and you guys tell me what you think. Hold tight. So here go with Tia Mowry, however you say her name. So Tia Mowry announced she and husband Corey Hardrick are calling it quits. They're getting a divorce. And Tia Mowry filed for irreconcilable differences as the reason for divorce. So you guys are seeing that irreconcilable. You guys are seeing that there's certain different reasons. Some say he cheated on her. She said irreconcilable difference, whatever that means. So after 14 years of marriage, and once again, they always leave. They're going to leave at some point. They always do. After 14 years of marriage, Tia Mowry and Corey Hardrick are going their separate ways. Tia made the emotional decision on her Instagram account earlier saying that these decisions are never easy. She's the one that filed for divorce. I've always been honest with my fans, and there's no different. Tia wrote in her caption, I wanted to share that Corey and I have always been dedicated, have decided to go our separate ways. You guys have seen it. And look what they got, guys. The two share 2 children, 11-year-old Cree and 4-year-old Cairo. Tia and Corey plan to maintain their friendship as they co-parent. Now watch this brother. If he decides to get another woman, what's going to happen? I'm grateful for all the happy times we had together and want to thank our friends, family, and fans for your love, support, as we start this new chapter moving forward in our lives. That's what she said. And a recent TMZ report revealed that Tia filed for divorce, cited irreconcilable difference for their split. But you're hearing 2 or 3 different things. Some say he cheated in irreconcilable differences. But let's say if it was for irreconcilable differences, to a man that got a lot of assets, to a man that got a lot to lose, the laws don't benefit you. That's why when these women talk about community and, save community, black men and all this goofy stuff, which I'm not going to say goofy because I think some come with a right heart. Let me be careful how I say that. But are you marching to say, listen, we want our black men, but y'all need to change these laws before black men get married? Are those same women getting together telling other women, listen, sisters, let's form a coalition to march and to march on these, talk to lobbyists to change these laws so that men don't get treated unfairly in the court system? But they're not going to do that. But they want you to get married based on love, some feelings, something that come and go. Love is like gas, it comes and go. When she don't feel like loving you, then she could just leave. Irreconcilable differences. But yet you went to college, you study hard, you got a mortgage you got to pay for, you got kids, and you got to suffer through that BS, and more or less, I'm taking years off of your life because she said, I'm not happy anymore. I'm not happy. I don't love him anymore. I love him, but I'm not in love. Goofy stuff. That's why men don't file for divorce, because we don't do stuff based on how we feel. We do it based on the mission and principle. That's why I say if a woman is not disciplined, a spiritual, godly woman, they got her flesh under subjugation, then she you'll be a fool to get married, because many times guys, they pull the mask off once you say I do. They're on their best behavior, giving you sex all the time, having sex like the Lone Ranger, riding a horse. But once you say I do, the sex decrease. Now she got you. And then you sound like a deep fool stuck. And then she'll tell you after she didn't give you no love, oh, I can't believe you cheated on me. Goofy, you cheated on him. Because you can't call yourself a woman of God denying your husband sex. That's not your right to deny your husband no damn sex. Neither is his right to deny you. But you want him to get married, especially after he labored in college for all these years. He's built his name, his empire. He got millions of dollars, thousands of dollars to lose. But you got some of these fools talking about get married and build a community, but you have not changed the law in your mind. You have not looked at how she's been imprinted by different men before she got with you. But she wants you to give you all her resources and make you a damn slave. Talking about getting married. I hear so many horror stories of men in sexist marriages and got hard-headed, disobedient women. But yet when men talk about, oh, you're bashing women, your mama's black, you're bashing. Silly. Want to control you, but talking about they don't want a man that's controlling. But yet they controlling you with goofy rhetoric, happy wife, happy life. If you don't do what we say, you're not getting any sex. If you don't vote for these goofballs that are passing policies that don't benefit men, you're not getting sex. But you say you don't want a man to control you. Imagine if a man said, but damn, if you don't do what I say, then I'm not paying your bills and I'm not going to protect you. If you don't do what I say, then I'm not going to, whatever. Unhealthy control. It makes no sense. Corey met Tia back in 1999 doing the Odd Jobs as a struggling actor while she was coming off success as Sister. They dated for 6 years and eventually married on April 20th, 2008. She said, I was waiting at the bus stop after I shot my first film, Corey told Essence. Her sister and her drove by, saw me waiting and asked me to give, they saw me waiting and asked to give me a ride. I was embarrassed. I was downtown. They gave me a ride and were friends ever since. They took me to Inglewood. So that's how the relationship started. And see, what she doesn't understand is this. A once married woman with kids going to get one or two things. She going to either get a man that's going to use her for sex, or she's going to be trying to get the man that she wanted, but the chance of her getting a man similar is going to be almost impossible, unless he's a simp. But this is what you guys got to deal with now in these modern times and also in modern relationships. This is what you men got to deal with. You got to deal with this BS. She said letting go can be painful, but it won't hurt as much as holding on to an illusion. Corey has yet to make a public statement about his divorce, but he wished these two nothing but the best as they start their new journey. And that's why I'm telling you guys, being married in these current times are not worth it. I'm not against marriage. I do believe in marriage. I think marriage is a beautiful institution under the right conditions. But the conditions are not right here in America. Until she marches, guys, until she marches, and until she support men like Fannie Lou Hamer and also Harriet Tubman did. She was down for the mission. Because see, Harriet Tubman didn't care about her feelings. Harriet Tubman cared about the mission. Sojourner Truth didn't care about her feelings. Sojourner Truth, guys, Sojourner Truth cared about the mission. Until she cared about the mission, then you will be a fool to give your best to these modern women. This is what Tia Mowry said in a Instagram caption below. She said, I have always wanted to, hold on. Let me see if I can find, hold on. She said, I've always wanted to be honest with my fans. Today is no different. I wanted to share that Corey and I have decided to go our separate ways. These decisions are never easy and not without sadness. We will maintain friendship as co-parents, our beautiful children. I'm grateful for all the happy times we had together. I want to thank my friends, family, and fans for the love and support as we start a new chapter moving forward in our lives. And that's how it ends, guys. That's how it ends. And, and that's what a lot of men are dealing with. When she don't feel like loving you no more, then, she's going to leave. And, you guys know, and I know that they file for divorce at a higher rate than men do. They file for a divorce at higher rates. And that's why men are so afraid to get married. Hold tight. But when you hear men tell them, go change the laws or what are men getting, you hear crickets chirping. Why would men settle for mediocrity here in America when they can get better overseas with the understanding that the women overseas are not perfect? They're not perfect. They still women overseas too. And some of them got game too. But by and large, I think the odds are better. But you want men to just settle for mediocrity. You want men just to settle for mediocrity. You want men to settle for mediocrity. That's why they don't want men to have these conversations. They get mad that a licensed therapist is telling men to do what's best for them, because in the clinical world, we call it the right to self-determination. It means to live your life on your own terms, free of guilt, harm, or distress. Because, see, they live their lives on their own terms. But you got to settle for mediocrity. You got to settle for a woman that has not been trained to honor and respect anything associated with traditional men and traditional masculinity. And once again, white men are going through the same thing. It ain't just a black man thing. White men are going through this as well, guys. They're going through it. Because they want men to be men based on how they feel. They don't want equality. They want to be superior to you. I've always said that. They don't want equality. They want superiority. They want to be superior. They want you to be a bootlicker. But yet they'll say, I love the Lord. Oh, I love the Lord. I love the Lord. But don't even follow the commandments. They want a gospel based on how they feel instead of a gospel based on principles and truth. But you wonder why men are saying, nah, I'm good. I'm good, son. You hear men say, I'm good. I'm good. Yeah, I don't think I can do it no more. I'm good. Especially, guys, if you've done the work. Especially to my educated brothers that put in the work and done the work. But men are saying, nah, I'm good. I can't do it. I'm good. I'm going to focus on myself. I can't worry about her no more. I'm just going to focus on myself. Because, see, when I focus on myself, then I'm no longer a slave caught up in her own chain on her own Ferris wheel. I don't do these shows, guys, to denigrate women, because there are some good women that are uncovered gems that have not been found. There are some good sisters that have not been found. But by and large, for traditional men, it's getting harder and harder to find those said women. It's getting harder and harder. And so why should men continue to, look and look and more or less strive to get something they can't find. It doesn't benefit men. It doesn't benefit men at all. You know, there's no deal for men to get in these kind of relationships because relationships are mutually beneficial. But I want to show you guys something. My man Cortez Smith sent me something, and let me find it. And we're gonna break this one down too. Cortez sent me something, guys. And I'm gonna show you guys why even men that give their servitude to women, many times they still don't respect those men. Cortez Smith sent me a clip. I'm gonna look at it, and I've been meaning to play it. Let me see if I can find it, guys. Hold tight. Let's see if I can find it. But I'm going to find it. Because when you see it, guys, it's going to make sense. Let me look it up. Cortez has sent it to me. Hold tight. Cortez. Okay. Maybe this is it. Okay. And I shout out to my man Jay Fleming, good young brother. And once again, guys, this is why men are getting their passports. But I want to show you guys something. Jay Fleming actually did this show. Let me see if I can find. I want to show you guys something. Hold tight. Y'all gonna be shocked when y'all see it. Let me see if I get. Yeah, y'all gonna be shocked when y'all see it. But it's gonna help more or less prove my point that, you know, even men that do decide to bow down to the current system that we live in, they still don't honor and respect those said men. So let me show you guys something. And I know the brother, and I'm not here to disrespect that brother. Shout out to that brother, you know. But, you know, men that over-identify with their moms many times, if they're not careful, they are simps. They're unconscious simps. They still are masculine men, but they over-identify with the feminine, and it makes them become unconscious simps, supplementing irrational male patterns, because males do things based on emotion. Males don't know what their worth is. Males over-identify with women, but men do things based on principle. And we all have been simps or had some simp tendencies in the past. But I'm going to show you guys, and you guys tell me what y'all think, because, shout out to Cortez for sending me this, man, once again. And I was flabbergasted when I saw it. Shout out to, once again, Jay Fleming. Let me see. All right, here we go. All right. So tell me what you think, guys, because this is proving my point. The more things change, the more they remain the same. Hold tight.
Let me see. Man, you look like a sucker, man. But again, guys, let me say, so we're conditioned to think that this is okay behavior.
Right. We have been conditioned.
Right. Yeah. We're conditioned to believe that. And it's, you know, like I said, because you guys kind of want the.
All right. So this was on Lapeef. I'm going to show you guys. Hold tight. Shout out to the Lapeef Network. But this was a clip. And my man Jay Fleming was talking about it, but this brother got emotional. And I'm not going to judge nobody, but if you look at some of the faces, it looked fake, especially with this one.
And it's not appreciated. It's not.
Now listen to what he's saying. He's saying that he decided to marry a woman with kids. The brother's crying because he and no, once again, no disrespect to this brother. I got no but respect for Ricky. But I would tell Ricky at this point, or the situation you got yourself in, you over-identify with women which in essence made you vulnerable as a man, which in essence put you in a predicament for simping. And it's happened to all of us. We all have simped and fallen short. But that's low-key simping. Because see, when you don't have men in the family to teach you how to be men, you over-identify with your mom. And shout out to that brother. But that's why men don't want to, deal with chicks that got kids, man. Because there's no benefit. There's no benefit. I think women that got kids should try to go get back with the fathers of those kids if they can. Because if you get with that woman, then 9 times out of 10, you ain't gonna be able to discipline that child the way you want to discipline, because those are her kids. But she's gonna still expect you to take care of the kids that she got with Raekwon the Man. But hold tight.
No matter what y'all say, it's not. It's frowned upon. Y'all spit on it. Y'all minimize it. Y'all make it trivial. And all I'm trying to tell is I fucking love y'all, man.
And see, he's right. They do minimize. He is right. They do minimize the importance of manhood and masculinity. But what Ricky don't understand, they only respect power and strength. The love for a woman towards a man is fortified in respect. She got to earn that. And she does not come in knowing what power and respect look like. If she's never seen a father or masculine man in her community, she can never love you. You might can give love to her, but she's not going to give it back to you. And I'm not going to judge this sister, but like she's smirking and laughing. You guys tell me what y'all think. But that's what men got to deal with, guys. That's what men got to deal with. That's what men got to deal with. Shout out again to Jay Fleming.
If ain't nobody told you, I fucking fuck with y'all.
Oh yeah, he F with y'all. You know that? He F with y'all for real. I got some advice for him though. You might want to stop. I'm just saying. Not a shot. I'm literally just saying you might want to stop, because that's what you get. But I mean, to each his own. I'm just saying, if you were up here happy and telling brothers to do this, I would still say no, but at least you're like, hey, yeah, man, my son turned into Shaq. He made a rap song about me. My biological didn't bother. Yeah, man. See how it worked out? Okay, maybe I'll give you some room, but you up here. And like I said, it's not a shot, but you up here, you do not look happy, bro. I'm sorry. And I mean, am I wrong? Type of 1 in the chat if I'm right. Type of 2 in the chat if I'm wrong. And then that, like I said, it's not a shot, bro. But anyways, let's continue.
But we looked at it like, oh, you the throwaway dude.
You are.
This is what y'all tell me. Look at
that. Look at that body language. Look at the body language, man. But yeah, they want you to come in the spirit of servitude. Won't even take his last. Some of these chicks won't even take your last name. But she wants you to take care of kids she had by other men. You got to beg her for sex. But they say, community and damn black love. Make it make sense, man.
Why y'all think we keep getting the shit we get, bro? Why y'all think? The ones y'all need.
Look at that look, man. Slightly smirking. Because she knows it's a joke.
Y'all don't want the ones y'all need. Y'all don't want them. Y'all don't want them. Y'all want the glitz, the glam. Y'all want all the pretty shit. But soon as something happen that you don't like with me, fuck me. Fuck it. All them, one fuck up, take away all them data boys.
Right. They only remember the last good thing. They don't remember all the good you did. But like he's right about that. You mess up one time, then all of a sudden you're in the doghouse. You got some women say they're going to put you in the doghouse. I wish a woman would try to put me in the damn doghouse. I'm in nobody's doghouse. But they say you in the doghouse. She putting you in the doghouse, a house that you bought. Make it make sense.
Mm-hmm.
One mess up takes away all them attaboys. Yeah, my thoughts exactly. All that, you're such a good man. Yeah. You're such a good man. I see you go Global Passport, man. I'm going to bring you up in a little bit. You're such a good man. You're such a good stepdad. You are the man. What does your breakup look like? You're taking a bad deal. I'm sorry. It's a bad deal. Let me bring up Global Passport. What's up, bro?
Hey, what's going on, Jay?
How's it going, man? So,
yeah,
am I being too hard on this guy or what?
Well, I commend him for, wanting to do something like that, because of the absence of the original father, we got to make sure these kids are being
and I respect Global Passport crew, but I respectfully disagree. That's not your responsibility, man. It's not your responsibility to raise nobody else's kids, man. That woman, if she had several baby dads, need to go find one of them baby dads and get back with them. That's what she need to do. Her and her baby dads, or one of those baby dads, should go help save the community and raise them kids together. Not no innocent man that don't have kids. And I feel the same for women that are single, have no kids. They shouldn't be getting with baby daddies that got multiple kids by multiple men. I know there's I'm a little bit more lenient on the men if the man got this stuff together, because normally if the man got resources and money and he got a mission and those kids are not impacting him, it might be a little better. But still, I would advise against it, because it can be a headache, especially if the women have issues. So I don't, all this noble, doing what's noble don't benefit you. You have to be selfish in a good way. The Bible even says, save yourself from this untoward generation. That's what the gospel says. You have to save yourself. And, even Jesus was an advocate for saving yourself. Save yourself. He said, save yourself from this untoward generation. And I'm going to say it to black men, save yourself, black men. Because see, if it don't benefit you, then you need to save yourself. Because see, being a step is going to just make you a step, especially if they're younger kids. Now, if the kids are grown, if you want to do it, that's still up to you. I probably still want to do it myself. That's just me. I wouldn't do it. All my kids are by my wife. All my kids are by her. I didn't have any kids out of wedlock. I got all 3 kids by her. I don't have any kids or baby daddies and all that foolishness. But I understand things happen and people in blended families. If that's what they want to do, more power to them. I personally couldn't do it. That's just me. I'm not knocking nobody to do it, but I don't think it benefits men, especially if you're a masculine man on your purpose. If you don't have any kids and you can do better, that's what you should do. And I'm not trying to be mean or spiteful, but I think men should do what's best for them. But see, men settle because they don't know how much power they have. And that's why I try to do what I do, guys, to keep men in the flow. Shout out to my man OG Wiz for that $20 super sticker. OG Wiz, he said, keep the content coming. Thank you, OG Wiz. And because of your love offer, because of your mandatory support, OG Wiz, brother,
that's a deal,
sponsor the stream of the night, man. I appreciate it, guys. Guys, get the likes up. Shout out to my man OG Wiz for that $20 hitter. Thank you, brother. Shout out to my man, Dewan Holds for that $50. I think that's Mexican money. I appreciate it, man. He said, stand on your square. men like Coach is saying, yeah, that's what I believe in, men, because you got more power than you realize. You were the first fruit of God's creation. The woman was made for you. You weren't made for her. She was made to help you meet your mission on earth. But so many men are brokering for power instead of demanding it in the relationships. And that's why men got to know what their worth is. And that's why, as a licensed therapist, I use social trends to help you understand and see what your worth is as a man. I'm going to show you guys something else, man. This one is even better. And this one was by Rollo Tomasi. Hold tight. He was talking about, because white men are going through it too, guys. White men are going through it just like black men are going through it. But let me show you guys this one. Hold tight. Why modern marriages don't, let me see. All right, so this is fair use, guys. Fair use. This is by Rollo Tomasi and Rich Cooper. Why marriages don't work anymore. This is from a white male perspective. Fair use, because not only are black men going through it, white men are going through it too. You know, they'll say, oh, you don't like when your mama black, and I ain't got nothing to do with that. Men are just fed up and tired. White men are tired as well. And I want you guys to listen to it. Fair use.
Well, divorce rates are down because marriage rates are down, and marriage rates are at their lowest right now. We're pushing back the age of first marriage further and further and further. Should we save marriage? Maybe that's the question I should be asking. Should we save marriage? Should there be something? Is there any kind of fix to this?
I'll go first if you guys want to let me hop on the soapbox here for a bit, because I've put a lot of thought in this. I have an entire chapter in my book on why smart men don't marry today. To answer the question, should we save it? Save it for what? For who?
Is it worth saving?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, well, not for men. Absolutely not.
Right.
I mean,
it's not worth it.
It's all risk with very low reward for men, and it's low risk and higher reward for women.
Do you know the #1 female turn-on of all time? No, it's not confidence. It's not charm, game, or making her laugh. And it's not about being 6 feet tall, rich, handsome, or what you're packing in your pants either. Sure, those things help, but there's one thing women want even more. One thing
the social contract of marriage, like the origins of marriage for a very long time. If you read Stephanie Kuntz's book, The History of Marriage, it was about the acquisition of in-laws. And even if there was a breakup in that relationship a few hundred years ago, and she brought a few acres of land to the table and, I don't know, a couple of cows or something like that, he would usually keep the kids and all the assets that were acquired during the, merging of the families. And she would often go and live with her family, or in some cases have to go and work in a brothel. But that's changed completely. That entire scenario has been flipped upside down and then smashed into the ground with a big sledgehammer. It's been beaten dead. There's really very few advantages to marriage, for men today. And then you mix into that equation. So if you take a blender and you take that ingredient, you throw that into the blender, and then you take, most men today are weaker betas. They don't know how to hold frame in a relationship. Mm-hmm. They're not red pill aware. Almost all guys will go through the process of betatization through 1,000 concessions. Let's throw in that ingredient. If she decides to pull the plug from underneath you in a marriage and wants to get a divorce, the state will make sure that she's well looked after and there's a transfer of your resources. You probably won't see your kids as much as you used to. Some other guy that she starts porking will see your kids a lot more than you do. Throw that in the blender. And then you turn on the blender.
And Rich Cooper is right. There are no safeguards that adequately support the rights of men. But they want you to get married. They want you to save the black community. They want you to do it for black love. But until she marches, guys, on Capitol Hill, we ain't getting married. Until they change the laws, you can stop talking about marriage and black love and saving the black community. Because it's a bad deal and it's putting all men at risk. And now, see, if a woman is really serious about getting married, then she'll go march. She'll go to Capitol Hill, talk with the lobbyists, she'll talk with the governors, and she'll say, you need to change these laws. But until she marches, then don't get married because there's no benefit. unless that woman is a spiritual woman, and that's not a guarantee because she can change, or unless you got a comprehensive prenup. But she needs to be a spiritual disciplined woman. She needs to be a godly woman. You need to make sure she had a lot of men, and you need to make sure that that she knows how to follow order. But for the most part, you're gonna end up just like Tia Mowry and her husband, Tia Mowry's husband, frustrated and probably being divorce raped by the courts.
You blend it up and you have yourself a nice big shit shake. There's really nothing in there to try to save. If society wants to save marriage, this is what needs to happen. I'll say it again. Women need to take off the pink pussy hats. They need to all get together and say, you know what? We want to get married. We like the idea of marriage, religious, whatever, insert reason here. But it's too hostile towards men and they're not marrying us. So we want the state to change those laws to make them more balanced. Not even fair, but like more balanced. Mm-hmm. But I don't see that happening. Like, why would women want to give up the advantage that they have when there's so many gullible men lining up to wife up all of these women today?
Right. And gullible to the point, like Frederick Douglass said, he said the power, it never conceded to anything, guys, without a struggle. It never have and it never will. And behavior modification, it has to be balanced. But if the predator got more power than the prey, then you're going to always be a lick. I'm going to say it again. If the predator got more power than the prey, and many of you men are preys because you're very gullible, you're going to always be a lick to the courts. You're going to be a lick to the system. You're going to be a lick to her, and you're going to be a lick to another man's kids. And you don't want to end up being a lick, because if you are a lick, then you're more at risk for deletion, self-deletion, depression, anxiety, domestic issues, and all kinds of unhealthy coping skills that can be a detriment to your finances and your mental well-being. Keep listening.
Right. So, to answer the question of, is it worth saving? I mean, if you've got a functioning brain in your head and you've watched any of my content for a little bit, it's hard to conclude that it's worth saving.
Mm. Aaron, why aren't you married, Aaron?
Oh, my old man's been divorced 18, 19, 20. I don't know. And then see my friends get divorced. I don't know. Do you want to go dance on landmines? I don't know. I'll tell you why. Legally, that is a hard no. The legal risk facing men and maybe even women sometimes it's not worth. The government's way too involved. No, so that's a deal breaker off that. And I even wrote these down. And let me count the ways. I'll just give you the main ones. 2, men can't afford it. Young men can't afford it. In part because we've regulated the heck out of the economy. We tax their ever living snot out of productive men. I mean, all women want a guy that makes 6 figs. Well, men would have the same purchasing power if they weren't forking over 45% of their income at $67,000 a year. So
that's
young men,
53% here, my friend.
Well, that's because you have that nice long-haired trust fund baby as a president. Women don't want to, as per our previous conversations. They have reprioritized career and things above that. And I'll be perfectly blunt and honest. Most women are not, I hate to use the word trained, but prepared.
Hey, business people, business owners, entrepreneurs, wannabe entrepreneurs, startups, look.
Or conditioned or.
Well, Aaron Clary, you're right and wrong. You were correct. It's trained. The word train just basically means to teach. But see, we get triggered when we hear the word train because we think training meaning an animal. But no, train has many reasons, many connotations. I'm going to look it up for you in a minute. But train just basically means to teach. The gospel says train up a child in a way that it would go. But also men have been trained to defer power. Men have been trained to do what's best for her. Men, you have more power than you realize. And now with inflation on an all-time high, the cost of living going up, you with women that don't honor and respect you, and you can lose your livelihood because she don't feel like I'm loving you anymore. She don't feel like giving you sex. She don't feel like being with you. And the reason why I talk about this, guys, because many professional therapists don't talk about it. They don't talk about male rights. They don't care about it. Because lying to our women is a multi-billion-dollar industry. That's why some said that Kevin Samuels was the last hope for love and marriages in America. And I respect Kevin, and I respect him highly. But if he was living, I would tell him I respectfully disagree with him about telling men to get married here in America. It's no benefit. And some will argue if he really believed what he was saying. But that's for another debate. Hold tight.
Are educated about what it's like to be a quality wife. They all want to get married. They all want to have kids. But the heck, if any of them want to be a wife or a mother, I mean, it's, oh, kid came off the assembly line, ship it to daycare. Mama got to go work. And he better this, he better that. It's like, hey, selflessness, altruism. I love you more than.
Shout out to my man Gregory Scotland for that $20 healer. He said this is why Mr. Let Go is promoting a foolish ideal of wifing up baby mom. Yeah, it's all for attention, man. Some of these guys don't care about you. A lot of these content creators are fake. But ideas of wifing up baby mamas. Plus, he's very skeptical of many of the women on the peak. But yeah, he's a fool for telling men to do that, and that's a deal, right? Because it's no benefit for men doing that. Many of these women are severely imprinted. But you want a man to risk, and they keep always talking about for the community. But once again, how many times have the community celebrated the hard-working blue-collar black man? The blue-collar black men that many say they don't want, he don't make enough, or his job is too dirty. They didn't celebrate the black men that were going to college and being academics. They didn't celebrate them. They didn't celebrate me. They didn't celebrate you when you was in the library studying, telling you to be encouraged. I love you. We support you. But then all of a sudden you at the pinnacle of your success, and now they want you to come back and then I'm talking about saving the community. Make it make sense, guys. Make it make sense. It don't make any sense, to say the least.
Than you love me, I give them advice. That is, I've said it many times before. At best, young women have been conditioned to be competitive against men, and at worst, adversarial. There are very, go read it. I didn't pull it out of my ass. There are very few marriageable women. There are very few young women today who are even capable of a serious and mature relationship, such as marriage. So there's that. And then as to whether marriage is worth saving, right? No, not its current condition. It's not marriage. This is a very convoluted tax. This is a very convoluted wealth transfer scheme. And we haven't even talked about how horrific it is for children. But it will inevitably form. It formed naturally throughout human history. But it's just going to take a genuine economic collapse. It's going to take an elimination of law. Like it's going to have to happen that bad. This women are going to sit down and say, okay, well, all right, we've gone. No, it's not going to happen. It's going to be like, where's the water? Holy crap, where's the electricity? And then we're going to go back to reset. We're going to go through everything humanity had to learn, going all the way back to the Mesopotamians. Say, hey, you know what? We should come up with an agreement, a social contract, and we're going to reformulate the exact same rules that we did before. And maybe we'll do it all again in the year 4500 AD. But it will, if the human race wishes to continue and grow economically beyond a subsistence farming type of existence, it will return. But we are going to have this entire system collapse. People are going to have their nose put into reality as to what it takes to survive and support a family without the assistance of government. Until that happens, there's no reason men should get married. There's no reason women should get married. And there's no reason to salvage this Frankenstein version of marriage that we have today.
George, what do you think about this? Yeah, the reason I want to, before you answer, let me just give you a little food for thought here. When I was watching your whiteboard thing about, the housing market and forming families and the idea of like these families who would be predicated, let's just say, on a conventional form of marriage is affecting the housing market or affecting people's, like, certainly their buying power and everything else. Yeah.
Your swollen feet are trying to tell you something. You should never ignore swollen feet and legs. Swelling means there's blood and fluid getting stuck.
Is it worthwhile for us to even consider trying to find some way to sort of salvage marriage? Maybe save is not the word. Maybe reimagine it or put it into a different context. Would that be of value from an economic perspective?
Well, I don't know how, even if it was, I don't know how you'd execute, because then it goes back to central planning, and we definitely don't want any more central planning than we already have, especially in the United States and Canada. How do you make that a law? So it's got to be a bottoms up. It's got to be something that men and women both understand and want to pursue. Even if it's not marriage, even if it's just a long-term relationship where two parties are committed to each other and want to start and raise and grow a family, whatever you want to call that. But there needs to be awareness on both sides as to what the issue is, and then come to some sort of common ground by changing the law or the incentive structure in order for us to, not just have marriage into the future, but have a growing society from a standpoint of population, and that's healthy. So it's getting from A to B is difficult because of the narratives right now that are being pushed so heavily in society, and because we as human beings struggle when it comes to doing a cost-benefit analysis on things like, let's use as an example a gal that wants to become a professional and climb the corporate ladder. Fantastic. That's great. I'm all for it. But they need to understand the cost of doing that. And so few of them do, because society will say, oh, well, you can have it all, you can have everything. Well, actually, you really can't have everything. Guys can't have everything. Women can't have everything. So you have to make choices. You have to understand that if you pursue this career, you might not be able to have as many kids. And it is what it is, but you have to be conscious that you're making those decisions. And I think, neither party is really conscious of what's going on. But one thing I wanted to say, Aaron was talking about or alluding to, now we need two income families. And I think that's a big part of this. If we didn't need two income families, this family unit, I think, would be much more easy to maintain. And also, too, if you look at Jordan Peterson's work, which I'm sure I know you guys have, because I've heard you talk about it, on Sweden as an example, when you get societies that are the most egalitarian, you find that left to their own devices, women usually take on roles that you would assume historically that they would take on and pursue things that they historically have been interested in, and same thing with guys. So if we can just get out of the way and leave people to their own devices, then I think that there's a brighter future. But going back to the two income family.
And that's it. And like I said, white men are beginning to say it too. It's not like, when people say, oh, they don't like their mama, your mama black. White men are saying it too, they're saying it too. It's no benefit, man. If you're a rational male, if you got some common sense and logic, it's no benefit. And I'm going to show you guys how much respect they have for you as a man. Fair use, guys. Let me show you guys something. I found this, and shout out to the guys that were talking about it earlier. But they're basically saying, black men, if you don't vote, you're not getting no box. They gave to Raekwon the Man for free. And, a lot of times, guys, in these marriages, many times, guys, y'all just like this guy, this poor silly fool. They berate you. You can't get no sex. And many times, guys, you're looking just like him. Married and alone. The woman that says she would love, honor, and obey you as a man is going to dictate to you when you can get some loving. She's going to dictate to you. Hold on, guys. This head is acting stupid. She's going to dictate to you guys when you can get some loving. And now they don't have no respect or regard for you, to the point that she's telling you that if you don't vote, she's telling you what to do instead of you leading her. No sex. So what men should say, no sex, no support. No sex, no support. That's why you got to have victory over your loins. Because see, once you can control your desire for sex, she can never control you again. You should say no sex. No sex, no support. I mean, if I don't get into sex, then fine. We're not paying no bills. Literally that simple. Dewan Holes said, what about Chorenzo? Yeah, she'll give it to Chorenzo on Dewan Holes. But she ain't going to give it to these other poor men because she don't respect them. She's been imprinted by Chorenzo. but she ain't gonna give it to you. Shout out to my man Andrew Baker. Andrew Baker always showing love. He says, salute culture. Marriage rates start falling when it became a business versus a building block for the community. Yes, sir. Marriage works will work when men are trained to be a husband and women are trained to be wives. No doubt. I respect that. And also, because of your kind donation, Andrew Baker, you also are a sponsor of this stream. Thank you. And yeah, Black America, yeah, no sex, no support. I might do a show on that. No sex, no support. But I'm going to show you guys something, and hopefully this is fair use. Hopefully they won't give me a copyright strike, but I might have to trim it out. But anyway, guys, fair use. I'm about to show you guys something, and then we're going to get a little deeper into it. Hold tight. But look at this, guys. Look at this foolishness. And this is also disrespect for black men. And you guys gonna see how this liberal machine, continues to more or less walk on traditional masculinity. I don't know if I can show all of this because it might be a copyright strike. But yeah, I'm gonna show it to you anyway, man. And I might have to trim it out. But I want you guys to see it, so hold tight. Fair use, guys. Fair use for educational purposes. This is for educational purposes.
Yeah. Trey Tracks, I think we got one. It's voting season, bruh. No voting, no loving. No.
And guys, look who they use on the forefront to represent masculinity, an emasculated man. That's what they use, guys. Not a strong masculine man, but they love it when they get, these types of dudes to be the forefront of goofiness and silliness. But they said, Coach, save the community. We need to save our black community, But they're telling you, unless you vote, you're not going to get no box that she gave to Raekwon the Man for free. And yeah, Andrew Baker, it's insulting, man. Yeah, it's very insulting, man. And yes, Special Delivery said, oh no, and this is a disgrace, right? But look who they got on the forefront, guys, to represent masculinity. They always get a weak or suspect man to represent black men. And you guys know it's in Atlanta, man. And you're right, Top Gun, it's trash culture. That's exactly what it is. It's trash culture. Hold tight.
Voting, no touch. No voting, no nothing.
Look at them, and that's what the Dems have been reduced to: foolishness. And they letting this guy tell you what you can't get. She's telling you what you're going to do. That's why I told you men to change the laws in your mind. Shout out to Mr. Palmer. Get your passports and get with women in cultures where they've been honored and respect you. When they say no voting, no sex, say, well, fine. No sex, no support. I'm gonna do a show called No Sex, No Support. No sex, no support. No sex, no bills. No sex, no protection. You got to reverse it back on them. You got to use mental kung fu on these hyenas because they are hyenas, and they got a fat hyena in the forefront doing their bidding. Yeah, they got a little fat hyena. Because these are the kind of men that they use to promote their liberal agendas. But they say, we need to save the community. And look at this simp. Look at these simps over here. You got a simp to the right, to the left. And you got a simp to the right, and 9 times out of 10, they never saw masculine men. Look at these three simps. And these simps are dangerous, guys. These simp surfers. Look at them.
No voting, no fucking, no voting, no fucking, no voting, no loving, no voting, no touching, no voting, no nothing, no voting, no fucking. No voting, no fucking. BLK app looking for some action. Swear the homie Scott was.
Yeah, you guys see it, but they say save the black community, guys. They say black love, save the community with this foolishness. And I'm out of guess trying to find the few that exist, but they so hard to find. Yeah. I'm gonna do a show called hashtag No Sex, No Support. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do a show for you guys, man. Yeah, he said, what is this on the screen? Yeah, I don't know what it is, bro. But they said save the black community. Yeah, they said go save the black community. Black Ram point these types of three things out, moving towards a collapse either by major war or economic disaster. I totally agree. Yeah, I totally agree. Modern day Sodom and Gomorrah. You're right, special delivery. But they don't understand the spiritual implication that we're dealing with. The ground has to be burnt and purified before you can have change. It has to be burnt and purified. But they say, no voting, yeah. But they say go save the community. Save the community. Black love. You can't have black love without order. You can't have black love without masculinity. You can't have black love unless we live in a culture where they honor and respect boys and men. Until that happens, and it's not going to happen, you will be a fool to get married in America. You'll be a fool talking about black love and saving the community. It's not worth it because there's no benefit for you. Until she marches, don't let a woman trick you into talking about getting no damn marriage, especially if you was a single man. If you get your wife, get you a foreign wife and try to keep her over there so she won't be contaminated. We're not saying that there's not a few good women. There are a few. Shout out to the few good ones, but they're hard to find. And many times they're already married. But those good women many times are influenced by liberal dogma as well. Keep listening, guys.
Heavy. Face is a 9, abs a 10, D is a to be determined. He got mad jokes. He don't seem broke. The only red flag is that he don't.
And listen to what this goofball say. He don't seem broke. But look at how they disrespect the average hardworking black man. He don't seem broke. But imagine if a man says she don't seem fat. Imagine if a man says she don't seem ran through. Imagine if a man says she don't have kids about other men. You see how they can disrespect you men, and it's okay? They can call you broke, little phallus, average, but when you say what you want, all of a sudden, it's a problem. It's like one-way aggression and one-way desire. But they want you to save the community. And the same people that want you to save it, those people don't even respect them. The Bible says, unless a house be built on solid foundation, then the house be built in vain. You can't take new wine and put it into old wineskin. You can't change God's law because it's not predicated on order. You can wish for it all you want to, but you got to put new wine into new wineskin. So the current wineskin got to be either thrown away or burnt up, and then you can put the new wine into new wineskin. But these wineskins are broken, just like some of these vessels are broken. These vessels on this video ad are broken vessels.
Down vote. This midterms for all the single cuties. Wanna hit this booty, gotta do your civic duty. Now voting, now loving. Now voting, now.
And guess what? Look at who they got leading us as men. A bunch of foolishness. Hood hats and snuffleupagus eyelashes. And Black Ram is right. It's going to take something major because this is how foolish this culture has gotten.
Touch. Now voting, now nothing. Now voting, now fucking, now voting, now fucking. Now voting, now loving. Now voting, now touch. Now voting.
And that's who they always have on the forefront. Look at all that weave, guys. Weave, caked on makeup, been imprinted by Chorenzo, got on them snuffleupagus eyelashes. Look at her. You can't make a wife with this particular woman. You'll be a fool to get with a woman like this because she's been heavily imprinted. But you got these goofballs talking about saving the community. Saving the community. For what? What are you getting in return?
No nothing. No voting, no fucking, no voting, no voting.
Yeah, don't stop now. Stuff my ballot box again, but my homegirl through. Put the buy in partisan. Politics be so.
My man Nice said, I got 5 on it. Modern women are looking for simps. Point blank, period. No doubt, brother. You're right. You're right, Nice, for the $4.99 super chat. You're right. Specialists and fathers, please stay in your children's lives or else these are the results. I agree, man. Yeah, no hope for the black community, Todd. You're exactly right, bro. Yes, government is a major factor with this. Wake up, people. Yes, you're right, brother. Modern day Sodom and Gomorrah. Yeah, I might do a show called No Sex, No Support. And this is who they use to pander and to push their agenda. which is not but culture Marxism, to say the least. Hold tight.
So nasty, make me wanna flirt ya, show you how to be a pole worker. Legs in the air, I don't care. Anyone could get it, universal health care. If you wanna come before the deadline, come in the jacuzzi, gerrymander this coochie.
Now vote in, no love, now vote in, no touch, now vote in.
Look at our culture, guy. A culture of hood, of trash and degenerates. But they want you to save it.
No nothing, can't let me down, gotta stand up for something. Now vote in, no love, now vote in, no touch, now vote in, no nothing. BLK, we gon' stand up for something.
Sassy, out of control. I'm sure men of them ran through. But this is what you get. This is what they want you the guys to marry and sell it for.
Yeah, that's right. No vote in, no love. If the coochie is to go hit the pose. Period.
If the coochie is to go. And that's why, like my man Top Gun said, he's right. When him and I talk in private sometime. See, being what you can control. Yeah, she looks like Chorenzo. Yeah, she do like Chorenzo, Bandsra like. She do like Chorenzo, man. But Chorenzo got him some that night. Chorenzo got him some booty. Barry Ham said she's 47 years old and act like she's in her 20s, yes. And Black America said this is what happens when the boy joined the drill team. Yeah, Cool Breeze said fake hair, fake nails, eyelashes, but want a real man. You ain't real yourself, right? But this is what they want you guys to work for, man. Yeah, DeJuan Ho. She been imprinted by Chorenzo so many times. She looks like... Yeah, she do look like Chorenzo, man. Like a man in the face, man. Yeah, she got all that DNA in her, man. She's a GMO. But yeah, she wants you to come and save the community. And she's telling you what you're going to do instead of you telling her what she's going to do. But, they say, well, go save our community. Well, what are you saving it for? What are you getting in return? Nothing. And many times, the people that want you to save it, they just want you, for resources anyway. They don't really love you. They're trying to hit a shot at the last minute. Some people are genuine. There are some people that are community advocates and they're genuine. But I think they're misguided because this mess is not worth saving, man. Gregory Scotland said that culture, we're going to be more suspicious, had to be more suspicious of many black women when they're so friendly with the alphabet. We're right. They're the ones that push it. They push it more than anybody else. Well, the main ones to say you're happy or you're down low. But they push it more than any other. They push it. They love to push it because they don't want to fall under masculine authority. I'm going to show you guys something else, man. I'm not going to play all of this, but this is from 21 Studios. This, once again, guys, is fair use. And I want to show you guys something. But marriage is killing men. White men, guys, are going through it just like we're going through it. And white men are going through it. Marriage is killing men. And this goes all the way back to Dr. Helen Smith's book, Men on Strike. Hold tight.
Together, we will make women great again. Excuse me, I'm mansplaining here. She said there's nothing...
Welcome back to the 22 Convention of 2021 in Orlando, Florida. This is a special, rare event. This is what happens when you ladies get together and voice what you would like to see happen. And you requested the following individual to come and specifically speak about a topic dear and near to many of the Manosphere's hearts, and he's going to be doing it today. He's an individual I've come to know over the last couple of months, and in the hours and days of this convention, we've spent a tremendous amount of time talking and sharing ideas. His personal story is one of true mark, but in this particular case, he's going to be talking about a little bit different subject, one near and dear to my heart, on which I too am facing. And this is simply the fact that men are on marriage strike. We simply refuse to submit to civil marriage under the conditions in which marriage exists today. And so without further ado, I'd like to introduce Jeff Younger talking about why men refuse to get married. Thank you.
Thank you, Socrates. I really enjoyed my discussions with Socrates, and he's a lovely and gracious wife who's been so kind to me. There's a movement, and nobody talks about it. Even men don't talk about it very much. A movement to avoid marriage, and it's mostly among young men. And often, when I try to talk to people about this, particularly women get very angry with me. Like, I'm not advocating this. I just want you to know, I'm not advocating this. I'm an Orthodox Christian, and I deeply believe in.
And sure, they get upset because they don't understand where men are coming from. I'm not against marriage. I think marriage is beautiful with the right woman. I think marriage is one of the most powerful things for communities and also for children. But the current climate that we live in does not benefit men when they come down to marriage. It just don't benefit men. It just don't. It doesn't benefit men. And that's why I say until men get their needs met, you will be a fool to get married in this current climate.
Holy matrimony. Holy matrimony is not what civil marriage is today, though. It's actually the opposite. So I'm going to ask you not to shoot the messenger here. Yeah? I'm trying to just describe things. I'm not advocating for them. I was actually interviewed for this book. This is a book by Helen Smith. If any of you follow the blog Instapundit, which is one of the most popular blogs in the world, Glenn Reynolds, who's a law professor in Tennessee, this is his wife. And she is a psychologist, a social psychologist, and she did a lot of study on this, why men aren't marrying. Well, here's the good news. Divorce rates are declining. Here's the bad news. They're declining because marriage rates are declining. And we don't really talk about that. Look at women's marital status. You see how the never married and married are coming together? And the divorce rate is moving up slightly. Look at men. Same thing, same pattern. They're beginning to converge. Men in particular, you see that line steeper, men in particular are refusing to marry. And there's some reasons for that I think you'll find surprising, things that are somewhat counterintuitive even. First of all, I would like all of you to Google this and download this study. It's one of the few comprehensive studies that have been done on why women file for divorce. At least in your state, at least 70% of all divorces will be sought by women, not by men. In my state and in Dallas County, where I live, it's upwards of 90% are sought by women. Now, by the way, the stereotype about Dallas divorce lawyers is true. Dallas has the highest divorce rate of any county in the United States, and it's way higher than the closest one behind it. You can go get rich in Dallas doing divorce law. But there's a quote from the final conclusion that I wanted to read. We have found that who gets the children is by far the most important component in deciding who files for divorce.
And many times, guys, you're not going to get the children. Many times you're not going to get them. The court's going to award it to her. And can you imagine not having access to your kids and then your kids potentially being around another man that she decides to sleep with? Think about it, guys. This is what you brothers got to deal with, sadly, on a consistent basis. The lack of cooperation and the lack of support. This is what you brothers got to deal with.
When they ran different statistical models and they did surveys, what they found was the main reason women were filing for divorce was to get sole control of the children. And that allowed them to get sole control of property and money. One of the big issues here is that we have no-fault divorce, right? There was a time, when I was born, 1965, you couldn't just get divorced if you wanted to. There were only 5 reasons in the state of Texas, where I'm from, that you could get a divorce. Divorce only happened for cause. In marriages without children, it would often be granted, just as no-fault divorce. But marriages with children, neither parent was allowed to run out on the children unless one of 5 things happened. These are things like marital fraud, domestic violence, infidelity, things like that. But right now, marriages can just be terminated. So people think of marriage as a kind of a contract, but it is not a contract. You can't run out on contracts anytime you want, but you can marriages. Here's one of the main issues driving divorce and has gotten the government involved in promoting divorce. Government promotes marriage in order to promote divorce. Government makes money on divorce. Title 4D is a federal program which gives matching funds for the collection of child support. It's about 66 cents on the dollar. I don't know about other states, but I know Texas, it's about $500 million. Comes from the federal government to the state in Title 4D funds. It funds our entire Attorney General's office. So when you hear Ken Paxton is suing the federal government for something Texas doesn't like that they're doing, all that's being funded by child support. Okay? In Texas and most states, judicial retirement comes out of Title 4D funding. The more child support that is issued by a judge, the larger their retirement when they're off the bench.
Think about that, guys.
Let me tell you a little story. A good friend of mine, his name is Josh in Texas. He and his wife came to an accord. He was watching the kids 10 hours a day because she was pursuing a career. He has a construction business, but he can work at night. So he was watching the kids for her. They're divorced, friendly. He was watching the kids for her 10 hours a day, and he was still paying $1,800 a month in child support. So they just came to a rational agreement and said, hey, I'm going to waive the child support because you're taking care of the kids all the time. Why don't we just share the kids equally and we'll just dispense with the child support? So they came up with their own agreement, and in Texas, judges are required to take mutual agreements. All right? So they show up to the judge at what they think is going to be signing this mutual agreement, no child support, they're going to equally share custody, and they had a real nice flexible arrangement where when she had to travel, he could keep the kids so they could just change it up how they needed to, The Texas Attorney General sent a lawyer to court and said, you cannot do this because they will not be paying child support. They interfered with an agreement for equal custody. Money. Over the lifetime of a child, it's a lot of money. That's the degree to which the states are involved in promoting divorce. I'm not one of these guys that blames women. Like, I don't think that way, and I think a lot of women blame men. I experience it a lot, but I also know a lot of women that have no blame for it. They understand that there are perverse social incentives that are affecting both of us, right? So, I think, my God, if I was a woman and I had been told that I need like an alpha man who's going to get things done and everything, who never tells me what to do. I want an ambitious man who runs a business, going to make lots of money, who spends all his time with the kids. If I had believed these logically inconsistent things, I'd probably be unhappy. I'd be unhappy too. You've been given these crazy messages from this culture, right? Let's think about some of the temptations that women are under in marriage, right? And so a lot of men will get real angry about this, but it's the state that has created these incentives. So it's no-fault divorce, right? So a woman can file for divorce, and in Texas, she'll have a 95% chance of getting sole control of the children. Now that means in Texas that she will be able to direct their religious, moral, and intellectual education. The man will not be able to direct that, okay? For most men in Texas, it averages about 30% of their gross income in non-deductible expenses. A lot of people think that men get to deduct child support. Actually, they don't. The recipient, the woman, gets to deduct the child support that the man pays. And this makes child support for the IRS a revenue neutral event because the woman deducts what she receives, so it doesn't change anybody's income. So the IRS loves that because there's no paperwork, right? But I know millionaires, multimillionaires, who cannot absorb 30% in gross income in non-deductible expenses. It's just impossible. In Dallas County, when you drop below $40,000 a year in income, you literally can't afford housing at that point. So, but she gets the right to the 30%.
And guys, this is the quagmire that's destroying a lot of men. This is the quagmire. I'm going to drop the link. Marriage strike is killing men. I'm going to drop it, guys, in the link. Hold tight. Let me drop it for you guys so y'all can see it. In case I don't play the full thing, I'm going to send it to you guys right now. Hold tight. I think this is it. And you guys can go check it out. check out the full thing, or I'll put it in the link. Hold tight.
Percent of the man's income for up to 20 years in Texas, right? Because it can go into college, right? She gets half of the marital assets, right? And she may get spousal support if she's been, in Texas, we really don't have alimony. You have to have been with a man for 10 years. And then you can get temporary alimony for 2 years, right? So you may get that. So you're asking women, I mean, think about how easy it is to just file and you get that. You get all of this money in sole control of the kids. And you're asking women to not do that. In marriages sometimes are tremendously difficult. You know, I'm often fond of quoting Aristotle that, you know, happiness is not an emotion. Joy, we used to have a different distinction between joy and happiness. Joy is the emotion you feel, but happiness is not an emotion. You know, ask people who've climbed Mount Everest and they say, hey, you know, it's the happiest day of my life being on Mount Everest. Yeah, you're dying. You know, you go above that oxygen zone and you start dying. And the question is, can you come down before you die? You're in absolute agony. I have a friend of mine who plays professional rugby, you know, and he's like in the championship. He broke 3 ribs, played through it. He was in.
Guys, I had to stop this. I just got a #1 sponsor from Brother James Miles. He sent me a $60 cash app. He said, for my disabled brother, disabled American or Aboriginal vets, rock. So James Miles, thank you, man. And James Miles, because of your kind, meritorious support, James Miles, you are the number one sponsor of the stream. Thank you, James Miles. Appreciate it.
It's the money.
Absolute pain. Says, happiest day of my life was playing that game. You know, he felt no joy, yet he was happy, right? Happiness is an activity in accord with virtue. Joy is an emotion. You could be happy in a marriage, but not be experiencing joy all the time, right? You're doing the right thing, and you know you're committed to doing the right thing. So you're asking women, you know, who may be in difficult times, to not push this win button and get all this, you know, sole control of the children and everything. It's a huge temptation. I don't think men adequately understand that temptation. And I would ask men, what if you had the power to do that? If you could take half the marital assets, the kids, you could get all the money, man, that's a temptation for you to push that button when you get upset with your wife. It's a tough one. So this is a little bit skewed. You've probably heard the statistic, 45% of marriages end in divorce. That's true, but a lot of those are remarriages, right? If you only look at first-time marriages, you're really down in the 20%, but that's still significant. If you're thinking about doing a business deal, would you do a deal if you know one in 5, you have a 1 chance in 5 of totally going bankrupt? You probably wouldn't enter such a contract, right? It's still bad, is what I'm trying to say. And here's the issue. So we have all these issues of female temptation. You know, I've heard some men say, hey, you know, I'm just one bad mood away from losing my kids. She could just file for divorce and take my kids, right? Men feel this. And I know women that use that as power over their men. They can make their men do whatever they want.
Right.
Because they can take their kids anytime they want. And they use it as a form of power.
Imagine that.
And this is, you know, California.
And you guys thought I was playing when I said that Frederick Douglass said that power never conceded to anything without a struggle. It never have and it never will. They have too much power. That's why they don't respect you as men in America, because the typical man has been rendered powerless.
Is infamous for that. California divorces are just infamous for that kind of control. The issue for men, though, comes down not so much to these temptation issues, and honestly for men, it's not the money. I'll give you an example for me. When my ex-wife divorced me, she was trying to transition my son to a girl.
She divorced him.
Without my consent. I've been fighting that. I spent over $1 million fighting that. I offered her $20,000 a month in child support and 50-50 custody for 50-50 time with my son. Because I knew if I had 50-50 time with my son, he would reject a female identity because he's never presented as a girl with me.
Mi nombre es María Fernanda Rivera y trabajo como auditoría en la ciudad de Miami.
Mi nombre es...
She turned down that money to keep that control, you see, okay? So you can see that even in my case and most fathers, it's not the money, it's being secure in their posterity. Men have an intense, and I mean an intense, desire to raise their children. I mean, I'm just getting chills even talking about it because I have that feeling in my. It's I don't know if you're not religious, you might say it's some kind of instinctive reaction from evolution, you know, whatever. It's deep, and it's not something. It's one of those things that men cannot control. Okay, you can't control your mothering instincts. You know, we don't have those, right? We you know, I remember when I had children, I just marveled at that. At how the instincts that women had about the needs of the children. It was just absolutely marvelous. I couldn't believe it. It was almost like ESP. Men have an intense desire to direct the ethical upbringing of their children. And the inability to do that is a tremendous blow.
And that's what I'm talking about, the mental health distress when men are not afforded the power. See, we don't look at all the ramifications, guys, and the things the men got to struggle with. Tia Mowry filed for divorce for irreconcilable differences, but we don't look at all the stresses that men have to go through when it comes down to children, no-fault divorce, and not having the proclivities and the power to raise their kids. Can you imagine your child is ripped away from you, your seed, because the state does not benefit you or respect you as a man? But she'll say, go get married and do it for the team and save a community. But when you show them all the evidence, they still say, go save the community, not taking your needs and your situation into consideration because they're very solipsistic, to say the least.
To their masculinity. It's probably the only thing worse would be castration. So I want to tell you how the laws make men insecure in their posterity. First of all, at law, fathers presumptively lose kids. And this may surprise you, right? But I'll give you an example in the Texas statutes. We have something called the standard possession schedule. About 80% of men who get custody of kids get this. It may be higher. It may actually be higher because we don't have records for some counties. So this gives a man 24% of the time of this child. It's the every other weekend thing, right? So you've heard psychologists up here talk about anything less than 40%, it's a single parent home, right? So the father is really removed from the mental, moral upbringing of their children by the standard possession schedule. But the standard possession schedule, since it gives 24%, which is less than 25%, maximizes Title IV-D reimbursements to the state. So it's no accident that that's the standard. Here's the thing, that custody arrangement is considered to be statutorily, at law, in the best interest of the children. So when you go into a divorce, presumptively the judge assumes that it's in the best interest of the children for the father to have 24% of the time of the kids. And the father has to rebut that presumption to get it changed. And that rebuttal has to be powerful enough that the state loses Title IV-D monies, a lot of Title IV-D monies. You see where I'm going with this? Fathers are presumed at law to lose their kids. Fathers lose all privacy. Let me give you an example. For me, I've been in continuous litigation for 9 years. Every time you've seen me in there getting coffee, anytime you've seen me buying a drink in here during our little soirees in the evening, all of those transactions I am required to deliver to my ex-wife to be scrutinized. My entire financial life, all my bank accounts, bank statements, credit card transactions, cash transactions, any receipts that I receive have to be delivered to her. So most fathers endure this because it's integral to child support calculations. Suppose I want to reduce my child support. The court is going to say, yeah, but you bought lattes at that conference. You could have given that to your kids. That proves to me that you're not thinking about your kids. No, I'm not reducing your child support. That's why women ask for these things and have the court order us to give it to them. So we have no financial privacy. That goes for my business that I have as well, by the way. All my bank accounts, all my client lists, everything. Fathers lose their constitutional, civil, and customary rights. So this talk I'm giving to you right now is illegal. Okay, I'm violating a gag order from a judge by talking to you. Now I've told this judge, and I'll tell the judge again, I'm never following your gag order. It's illegal, and I will never follow it. And if you believe that the gag order is legal, you're obligated to give me the maximum sentence in criminal contempt, put me in jail, have a writ of habeas corpus, judge, and I will go to the Texas Supreme Court and we'll see who's right. I always tell her that because she watches these things. I don't have a constitutional right to tell you that my son's a boy. I don't have a constitutional right to speak to you about any issue regarding transgender, LGBT issues, or anything regarding marriage. Totally unconstitutional. Family courts routinely give men restrictions like this, which are totally illegal, and men have to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars to appeal to higher courts to get them overturned. It's very common. Gag orders like this are probably 100% of cases are done. Okay, so it's very common. I told you about losing gross income, but fathers also become vulnerable to continuous litigation. Okay, so America has a really nice system. We have very flexible legal procedures leading up to a trial, giving both sides lots of leeway, discovery, everything. But once a verdict in America is delivered in a civil court, there can be no relitigation of that fact. Okay, you may not like it, but that's it. The benefit is huge for our society because it means that we're not constantly relitigating things. Okay, in Spanish courts, you can relitigate. So you've got families that have been litigating for hundreds of years in family courts. I mean, in civil courts, okay? So in the English court system in America, once the judgment's done, you're done. You cannot litigate that issue again. Family court is the only exception. So I've been continuously sued for 9 years without break. Never stop, okay? And they have a right to do that at family court. And because of that, I become vulnerable to other kinds of litigation. So they may find something in discovery that they think they can sue my business for. They get discovery from my business and they think they might be able to cooperate with a European partner and try to sue me over some business deal. Now, I'm not making this stuff up. Okay, you become very vulnerable to litigation.
Thank you, Andrew. Appreciate it, brother. But what do you guys think about this whole thing? Can you guys hear me now? If you guys can hear me, hit 1. Thank you, Andrew Baker and Dan Smith and all the other brothers. But I'm going to drop the link, guys, and tell me what you think about irreconcilable differences, no-fault divorce, and what you guys think about the overall trajectory of this country as it relates to the rights of men. The link has been dropped. Let's have a conversation, guys. Thank you, Andrew Baker, a swim champ, Swab, Barry Hamilton, Steven Santiago. But the link has been dropped, guys. And, you know, I do these shows, guys, because I'm an advocate. I'm an advocate for boys and men. And until the current laws change, it's no benefit for men to get married in this modern culture, man. It ain't no benefit. And even though I do believe in marriage and the sanctity of marriage, it doesn't benefit men now because the world is very gynocentric. So the link has been dropped. Let's have a conversation, guys. To some of the women that want to have a conversation, you'll feel free to come on and have a conversation as well. If you do believe in what I'm trying to say, and as I seek to advocate for men and boys. But the link has been dropped, guys. Y'all can come in and chop it up and talk. And let's have a conversation because things are getting crazy. And we're beginning to see it more and more as time go on, man. So let's have a conversation, guys. We're going to keep this one under 3 hours. I ain't going to take it over 3. I got about 30 minutes, about 35 minutes. So if you guys want to have a conversation, let's do it. If not, I'm going to end the stream in a minute. Dan Smith said revert back to the automatic father, custody, and all this nonsense would disappear quickly. Yes, I agree with that, Dan Smith. Dan Smith, if you want to pop in, feel free to do so. Cool Breeze say, Dan, that's her incentive for the court not to be held accountable and do whatever she wants with the money. Yes, no accountability. I totally agree. Shout out to Figuring Ish out. He said, Mr. Life, showing love. I appreciate it, brother. Thank you, Figuring Ish out for the $5. Thank you, brother. I appreciate your kindness, man. Thank you, sir. But the link is dropped, guys. Let's talk about it because, you know, Tia Mowry's divorce is impacting a lot of men. Okay, there you go, Mr. Light. There you go, brother. How you doing, sir? What's going on?
What's going on, man? I'm back again with you once again, sir.
Back again, man. A pleasure to see you and hear from you. So what's your take on this whole fiasco with irreconcilable differences in Tia Mowry and Mr. Light? What's your take on it?
Man, I actually watched that video.
Go ahead.
I actually watched that video some time back about the guy that you show. And to talk about that, I could talk about my personal situation because I said when I got married, my life definitely changed. My life changed definitely for the better. So I do see some benefit in the value of it when speaking it from that is because I think if you aren't a Renaissance man, one thing that you benefit from when you bring a woman inside your life is you become somewhat domesticated and it kind of settles you down. And I think that happened with me, because I was a bastardized whore out there. I was running the streets doing whatever I could when I could. And it was just like chaos. So when you get one, you kind of settle down and you get into a groove and you begin to focus. And that's what happened with me. Right. So I think, that's what I would speak on, but I definitely saw the video and I do believe everything that they were saying because I think I found the one for me. She didn't want kids. So none of that affect me at the same time, because I definitely didn't want a woman that wanted kids because I made it 39 years old. I'm like, why get married? Why have kids right now?
I respect that.
Yeah. So I didn't want kids. And then she didn't want to be married. And then, so just like, it was the perfect storm that brewed for me. I was just like, all right, you cool. I'm going to give you equality. And you can have that equality, go out there and make that money, bring it home back to me. I can go buy me some Yeezys. I said that the last time I was here, right? Go buy me some Yeezys. Make life good for me. Hey, I tell men all the time about these smarter women, man. I'm like, you got to play it how it go. So you can go overseas if you want to. More power to you. But when you go overseas, that shrinks the market for every man. And so now men get a better chance. I think the problem comes in when a lot of these men see the women on Instagram, and those are the ones they want. They don't see the lady with the glasses on that's sitting in the back that's a little bit awkward, that's still beautiful, but you can't get her, but you can't see it, that she dresses kind of, I'm not going to say homely, but she doesn't dress all provocative. They don't see those type of ladies being gorgeous. To me, those are the ones you go after. Those are the ones you need to be with because they're going to hold you down. They're going to have your back. Everybody think about marriage and love as just being like, oh, it's a sexual drive. No, it's a vision, purpose, and a plan. And I think a lot of men miss that. They don't want to go in and thinking about a contract. No, that's contractual. It's very contractual, right? So you better have those. You need to have that contract laid out about what you're trying to do. And if she's not for your vision, purpose, and your plan, just kick on. And you can figure that out real quick. Because when you started talking and she was like, I don't know about that. I'm like, they start frying up. Kick dirt, man. no big deal off your back. Just don't take out on no very expensive dates just starting out. And that's another problem these men suffer from. They want to take these bras to all these expensive restaurants, $200-$300, and then get mad when she don't want to put out.
You said you got to get it how you live.
You got to, man. You better take her to Starbucks on that first date, and see what her head at first. But and I talk to young men about that all the time. I got a partner that just went through a divorce, and he just went through that same thing. I have three of them that recently went through a divorce. And they all went through the same thing, just trying to figure out what's going on with the kids and getting back into the dating market. They all want to be married. I just simply tell them, like, you playing the game wrong. You over 40, you 35 and older. Some are over 40. You are you are a commodity now. You are no longer the predator. You are the prey. So you got to be very careful out there inside these streets, because women lead with sex. So they'll give you sex thinking that that'll get you into a relationship. And then you find yourself in the melee and some foolishness because she led with sex and thinking that she like you. So I was like, you got to play the game how it go. Understand, spend as little money as possible, figure out where their head is at first, and then decide if you want to move on. Sex come dime a dozen right now. You can go outside, walk outside and throw a rock at a woman and get sex. Well, I'm 6'5" and brown eyes, so for me, it wouldn't be that hard. But I do get, like, some guys might see it as being an issue, but it never was an issue with me.
Right. Are you 6'5", man?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm 6'5", 6'6", man.
Yeah, I'm 6'4", 6'5", 6'4" and 3/4.
Yeah, that's me. That's about 6'4" 3/4 with shoes on. You put the shoes on, man, to take it up about 6'6", man.
Yeah.
6'6". That's why I always say 6'6" with shoes
Well,
on.
I actually lost height because I have arthritis in my lower spine in the L4, L5, and L6. So I've been shrinking over the last 2 or 3 years.
2 or 3. But Cortez Smith said he disagrees, bro. That the female artist, he said dudes are not overlooking pretty girls for Instagram chicks. What's your take on that, Mr. Nice?
Well, I get where he's coming from, but from my anecdotal experience when I'm talking to these guys, is what I see. It's not and when I say Instagram chicks, it's the woman, the ones on Instagram and the ones that look like that. I'm talking about a profile, right? We all know the profile. Tattoos, usually have the weave inside the hair, usually made up, long eyelashes, usually see them inside the club, and where else you see them out? Always doing bad bitch. Mind if I curse?
No, you're fine. It's keep it at a minimum because.
All right.
Keep it at a minimum.
All right. Always doing bad B stuff. And so when you see these type of women and they always putting themselves out there because they usually come to the gym very provocative at the same time, you'll see them with the halter short, you'll see them with the halter on, and you'll see them with the camel toe showing. And we see that and we see the attraction. It almost like a peacock. So you just dive into it. So the thing is, it's just like, you can go after that if that's what you want. Me personally, I never did like weave. I hate the long eyelashes. I hate long nails. I like a natural woman. So to me, that never did attract me to actually go down that road. I always look for a little bit more subtle woman that actually stayed in the background. Back in college, I always found the girl inside the library versus the club.
Right.
That was my thing. Where
are you from originally, brother?
I'm from a small town in Florida called Quincy, Florida, right outside Tallahassee. So FAMU. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, that's where I'm from. So we had FAMU there, Florida State. I always go to the library. That's where I found mine at. Because why would I do that? Well, you find a girl in the library, she's studying to do her homework. And if you get in good with her, you can get her to do your homework too. See, a lot of guys were playing them. They didn't know how to play. Hey, it's about what you're trying to get, and some guys just think sex is the end goal, and I think that's the biggest issue with a lot of things. And once you actually start seeing things a different way and start seeing things like women see things, like women put men inside categories, right? Just like it was one lady, she told me that it was one lady, she had 3 men. It was a lady that I dated, she had 3 men. And she had money, D, and finances. And she had me as D, and she had 2 other older guys that was money and finance. One gave her money and one financed everything inside the house, buying car and everything else. So women keep men inside boxes, and they use them for that, right? But men, they keep women inside one box, and that's a sex box. they don't think anything different. Me, I thought different. I treated women the same way they treated me. I'm like, I had one to do my homework. I had one to come over and cook. I had one that'll take me out, and one just to come over and do strange things. And a lot of men miss that because they always think that, like, I gotta get the sex. I want to get the sex, especially young men. It's always about, can I get sex from a woman? So that's the end goal all the time. If you don't make that your end goal, you'll find out you'll get more sex because sex isn't your end goal anymore. It's about it's about what you're trying to accomplish. Me, I told them bros, I don't have a game. Some bros just understand my story. So I told my story to a lot of women. And you'll find the ones that are for you. And I always say, if they balk at it, just keep pushing. I lost way more than I won.
What do you think about the current divorce laws, man? You seem like you're a businessman, and a lot of men got a lot to lose in this current climate. But what's your take on this so-called?
They are not advantageous to men.
Right.
Just like I said, I got 3 homeboys going through it right now. And 2 of them are fighting for custody. Well, not full custody, but just fighting the custody just to get their kids. Like I said, if my wife left me today, I'm not getting married again.
Right.
Because I don't see the point of it.
You don't see the point, right?
Nah, the next woman doesn't get that. So if she leaves, I'm gonna be a travel bro. I'm gonna be everywhere in America. I'm gonna be Central America. Right. But these laws are not advantageous to men for multiple reasons. Because one, the court's going to always be to the onus of her. And even though we are seeing the laws changing now, they aren't fully there. Especially with the custody laws. I can't think of it right now because we just talked about this about 2 months ago, where we actually went over child custody, where we actually did a full exhaustive study on that, and we talked about the child custody, and we are seeing paternity laws change and begin to go towards, like, certain states. I think like 12 or 13 states are really getting ready to hammer down on that. But at the same time, with them changing the custody laws, they also looking at if the child is yours, it's putting men on child support while she's pregnant, which is the flip hand side of it, because the state doesn't want to be the one to fund the child. And I think that's the thing that men need to look at. And then when much like inside that video that you just showed, he actually went into how the state is funded and from the judge's retirement and how that is funded as well. Right. So there's an onus there to make sure that somebody is paying child support, be it it's man or woman, but right now it's the men. But with women rising inside the income bracket, I think probably in the next 10 to 15, 20 years, we'll see a change.
Yeah, man.
Equality.
And you know, so many things are going on, Mr. Live Right, Mr. Life Worth Living, you know. So many things are going on, man, from, you know, irreconcilable differences, marriages, and, you know, and it seems like, man, here lately, man, you just seen so many people in Hollywood that's getting divorces left and right. And, you know, so many tell black men to, you know, come save the community. What's your take on this, Reg, about black men save the community? I don't believe in it because it doesn't benefit men. But what's your take on it?
No, you save yourself. You save yourself. That's the first thing you do to save the black community. You save yourself. If you take one black man out of the community that's not selling drugs or doing anything wrong, that's one man advancing the whole culture. So if every black man saved themselves, we will save our community. But I don't think they see it that way. You save yourself, you'll save the communities. You don't focus on the women, focus on yourself. Right. That goes back to what I always say. You focus on yourself, your vision, your purpose, and your plan.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Right. I love that. Right. You know, the mental distress that a lot of men are going through. You appear to be a Gen X. When did you come out of high school, brother?
94.
Oh, yeah, 94. You look good for your age, man. You're 94. I'm class of 90. And,
hey, don't get it wrong, bro. This all great. I just died. This that Beijing.
but you know, Mr. Life Worth Living, when you look at when we were kids growing up in the 90s, things were remotely different. What do you see as the biggest difference in women and modern women when we were teenagers versus women now? What's the biggest difference you see?
Ah, man, women are a lot more today open with their sexuality, and they acting like men.
Right.
And I think that causes a lot of the melee we see right now going on. When women move like men, it's not a good thing. When you have women openly talking about giving throat and got 5,000, and you see this going on, I think sex is at an all-time low cost, which is also an issue, and women complaining about men when you all giving it out up front, like it doesn't take any work. So yeah. So, and if you have decent men inside your wits, not even half decent, you can be below decent, right? If you can get 3 out of 10 phone numbers, or you can get their IG, you can get somewhere. And that's the thing. So I think that's the biggest difference right now is women are a lot more aggressive, and they are a lot more open to their sexuality, and they're passing out like hotcakes. Women are like IHOP right now. They stay open.
Right. You know, and see, remember when we were teenagers, man, you know, sex was like, I mean, you know, it was like, how can I say it? It was like it was like Angus beef. It was like $9.99 a pound.
Yeah.
But it's about like 99 cents. Yeah, like Gwaltney bologna. You remember that Gwaltney bologna you get from the Piggly Wiggly? I don't know if they got a Piggly Wiggly in Florida, but it's like that 99 cents.
I know what you're talking about.
Man. 99 cents. It was really worth a lot of money back in the day when we were teenagers. Because they value their bodies, but they don't value their bodies.
You remember back in the day, if a girl got caught or it was a rumor about her giving head, it was embarrassment.
It was the nastiest thing in the world.
Nastiest thing in the world.
We wouldn't even look at it. She was a pariah.
Yeah.
If we found out a girl was giving some dome back in the day, man, if she got pregnant, we used to call them skeezers, skeezers. Or if they were if they were doing a lot of other things, they were seen as outcasts. That's why, you and I from Gen X. I don't resonate with what these chicks do now. Now they just do anything. They don't have no respect for themselves. But they'll have 4 and 5 kids by Shermite, Day, Man.
You say Shermite?
Yeah, Shermite, Lorenzo, and Raekwon, and they'll say, "I want you to, we're a package deal." I mean, goofy stuff, man. But you want a man to risk everything he worked hard for, risk his mental health, risk his physical health, risk his financial well-being for something that you gave to other men for free. Make it make sense, man. Make it make sense.
No, you can't, man. I won't try to make it make sense, but like I said, they pass it out like it's hotcakes, and a lot of women lead with sex anyway, especially if they're over 35, because they desperate at that point in time. They'll give it to you, just hoping that you'll give them a relationship. I got one guy from the scale of 1 to 10, he probably about a 4, and he bagging them down left and right now. He was like, man, I can't keep them off me. I like, bro, you are not the predator anymore like you thought you was. You are definitely the prey right now. They want a relationship. They want somebody to grow old with, to take care of them, to split half those bills. That's what they're looking for, and they don't know what else to give because they don't have anything else to give.
Yes, sir.
That's all they gave. So you need to be careful, because if one turn up pregnant, guess what? She's still getting half her bills paid then at that point in time. So you need to be very careful about going forward. But yeah, man, these women are a lot different. But what's your thoughts on Gen Z versus this generation when it definitely comes to how they talk to men? Because I noticed that that's a big difference too.
Well, you understand the transitioning. So you and I, Mr. Life Worth Living, you and I were in between tradition, and even though there were a lot of baby mamas and there were some that were coming up, it was not as bad. Ain't nothing new under the sun. But see, what it is, man, with almost 80% of kids being born in single-parent homes, they don't see fathers. We live in a matriarchy or a gynocracy, or whatever you want to call it. Then they don't have no respect for men because they never seen masculinity in homes. And so they disrespect the men because they never seen it. And now it's getting even worse to the point that they'll challenge your masculinity. But then if you slack the jaw, they'll say, you toxic, I can't believe you hit me. Oh, but you don't put your hands on a man. We knew that when we were kids growing up. You didn't get in a man's face.
No, you don't.
Yeah, but they get in the man's face, but they want you to, but I can't believe you hit me. What do you think he was going to do? If you put your hands on the dog, you put your hand in the dog bowl. If it's not your dog, he eating his pork chops. Let's see what's going to happen.
You say eating his pork chops.
You see what's going to happen. You go into a forest and mess with a bear while he's trying to get honey for his cubs. You think you're going to tell that bear? The bear ends up, ripping the face off. Oh, I can't believe that bear ripped my face off. What do you expect? He's a bear. You don't challenge a bear. But when it comes down to us being men, they don't have no expectations for us, man. We're just supposed to take it and deal with it because our mama black. Your mama black, so you don't supposed to put your hands on a woman because your mama black, man.
Oh, that sign language they always use, right?
That's that sign language, right?
That's that sign.
Yeah, it's that sign language, right? Go ahead, brother.
No, I was about to say, if you look on World Star, you kind of see it happening. I see because I watch World Star. God forgive me. But you actually see a lot of women putting their hands on men and beat men down. So my next question is to you is it because young men are being raised by women that they don't carry a masculine vibe anymore?
Yes, sir. It's called over-identification. In the clinical world, we call it introjection. Introjection is when a child take in those things, mostly women and children, from what their mom said or went through. The introjection turns to internalization. Internalization turns to identification. And identification, because they're not getting their needs met, can turn to projection. So it goes through like 4 cycles. And so, yeah, that has a lot to do with it, man. It has a lot to do with it. And that's why we need masculine men and masculine fathers. I'm going to ask you a question. I'm going to sign off in a few minutes. Some say the community is dead. I think it's dead because you can't build a community without warriors and men, and we not honor and respecting our boys. But if the community is dead, when do you see it coming back alive again?
I don't know if it's going to come back. I think America is going towards a brown nation anyway. So that's why I say save yourself. There's going to be remnants, much like you see in Mexico, or you see down in Africa, or any other countries that have sprinkles of black people. You're going to have remnants, but I think America is definitely pushing towards us becoming a brown country.
Yeah, I totally agree. Listen, guys, to the 2 brothers that popped in, Joseph, Yusef, and Mr. Counselor. We're gonna keep
I remember those 2.
Yeah, good brothers. We're gonna keep it on the 15 minutes because I got to get off. I got to get off for work tomorrow. We're gonna keep it on 15. So
it's about that time.
Yeah, how would you like to add to it, Yusef, and then Mr. Counselor, and Mr. G? Go ahead, Yusef.
Mic check. Mm-hmm. Okay. Am I just answering the question for the topic of the show? I mean, I just dropped in. It seems to be like
yeah. You do it
comment.
every time, man. You must be a fan. I start calling you a damn phantom walker. I say every time I'm about to sign off, man. You be singing that little gospel song. He may not come when you want it, but he's right on time, man. You got to stop that, man. Yusef always comes in the last inning, man. You like them cats coming in the club right before we about to close the door, man.
That's the best time to go in the club, isn't it?
Because I'm about to leave, man. but under 15, because I got to roll. But what do you think about these marriages, these marriage laws? And Tia Mowry is citing irreconcilable differences. We talked about a lot of stuff. But what's your take on that?
Yeah, I've heard a little bit about it. I mean, obviously, there's a lot of nuances to that relationship that we will never be privy to. But from what little I can gather, it seemed like. It seemed like it was a common love story. She found the guy at a bus stop. Well, she didn't find him there. Apparently, she worked with him, and he just happened to be at a bus stop. She drove past. He already has an established career. He was just trying to start his career as an actor. They get together. She was interested in the guy because he's a decent-looking guy. So she was attracted to him for that reason. They get married. They have kids, but it seemed like she was more into him than he was into her. And he just I felt like he probably stayed a little longer than he would have liked to, because she did help him in many ways with his career, putting him closer to the industry because she was already established. So she had the connections and the network for him to tap into, which is largely why he is where he is today as a moderately successful actor. So I think he did it almost out of not pity, but almost like obligation. That's the impression I get. Again, I could be wrong, but that's what it appears to be. So I think he just kind of, that's my impression.
And Yusef, man, the brothers, and listen, guy, Yusef a good brother, man. Yusef ain't got no Roxanne Shante in him. But the brother said this picture is not recommended on this platform.
That picture's not recommended.
But trust and believe, I think Yusef a brother, man. He ain't got no Roxanne Shante in him. They said, "What's up with the picture?"
Oh, that's I guess quote unquote model. I've been told I should do it for so long, but that's just normal for me.
Yeah. Well, make sure the next time, man, you have on your man.
Let me see what else I got.
Get your grown man on, man. We don't want you looking like that guy on no vucking, no voting, no vucking. We don't want you looking like that guy. We don't want you looking like Roxanne Shante. But Counselor MG, what's your take on the conversation, brother? Real quick.
Yeah, what's up, man? It looks like it's deja vu all over again. It's like the same cats last time I was here, huh?
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
Yeah. But anyway, just on the overall topic, this is pretty timely because I was actually doing a little research for a video, just looking at the whole process of marriage and all of the rituals that's surrounding it, such as the kneeling, which comes out of medieval Europe, the whole thing about the diamonds and all of that, how that's nothing but, as you guys should know, De Beers, under the control of Cecil Rhodes, when he controlled, all of the diamond mines, and they had all this surplus of diamonds and they needed a way to market them. And that is what kind of led to giving the diamonds in the Diamonds Are Forever campaign, and how that's not even a part of marriage, but the sense of entitlement that it creates in women that, they deserve these diamonds, and the whole process leading up to the marriage is what kind of creates this mentality that the women have, which basically goes counter to the natural order of things. Because if the man is supposed to be the leader and the ruler of his household, then why is there all of this submission in the process of the marriage itself? Well, at least when it comes to the wedding. So it's just, the thing is just wrong from jump, when it comes to that. And then just like with the clips that you were showing, in terms of how everything is skewed in favor of the woman, as far as getting access to the resources, getting the children, all of that, it's just going to incentivize them to break the marriage, as opposed to worrying about the family and the community at large. You're not going to have a stable structure when you have all these incentives, and you give that to the woman who's more emotional, and you give them this button that they can push that could just solve everything in their mind at the moment. Then it should be small wonder as to why you have the situation as bad as it is. And I like what one of the brothers said earlier, as far as the solution is individualized at this point, because now you're going to say, well, if this is what the society is going to do, and as men, we're very strategic, and if you're going to have a circumstance where you're putting all these forces against me, then I'm going to do what's in my best interest. And I kind of call it like trench warfare, where you're going to get down in the trenches, you're going to figure out what you're going to do to protect yourself. Just like, if you look at the history of trench warfare, when they start coming out with the machine guns and all that, what did men do in war? They start digging trenches and figuring out ways to deal with that. And so that, when you talk about the passport bros, SYSBM, red pill, all of these different strategies are just a way to respond to this machine that's coming, that has been levied against us. So, you're never going to get a situation where you're going to have this much of a deck stacked against you, and then you're going to be able to have it both ways, where you have women who don't understand why men are doing what they're doing, such as going overseas and all of that, but they don't see it from the perspective of the man in terms of how we're being victimized by the system.
Right, because they don't care, because it's no hurt to them. See,
right?
I'm gonna do a show called Until They March. Until They March, and show that they're serious about changing the laws. Like the Bee Gees used to say back in the 70s. Y'all don't know nothing about that, but Mr. Life, I'm talking.
No, I know about the Bee Gees.
The Bee Gees used to say, "How deep is your love?" That's what the Bee Gees used to say.
Yeah,
how deep is your love? And so, if your love is,
and they also said "staying alive" too. They said "staying alive,"
right?
And that's what we're trying to do.
Yeah, if your love is not deep enough to go march and tell these lawmakers to change the laws that impact men, don't expect men to come back and get married. Don't expect men to save no community. Don't talk about no damn black love, because I personally don't care about it. Because black love don't help you with mental health crises. Black love don't get your bills paid. Black love don't help you when you're in the court and they taking your kids away from you. Right. See, we talk about all this stuff based on feelings instead of based on logic and pragmatism. I'm gonna ask you a question: is the black community worth salvaging, in your opinion?
Is that for me?
Yes, sir. And then you say.
Oh, okay. If there was a community, maybe, but I'm of the belief that there's not a community. You just have a group of individuals who share a skin tone. Some overlapping interests may be there, but in terms of a community, nah. I mean, we haven't had a community in a very long time.
Long time, right?
you know, and yeah, I mean, because I am for our community if there was one, you know, but the problem is, you know, there isn't one.
Right.
And you just have a group of individuals who are looking out for themselves. And with regard to the gender piece, as far as the traditional roles, as far as men and women, and you've had our women who have abandoned that by and large for this feminism and for the boss bitch mentality. So, you know, there's absolutely no way that you could have community if you don't have family, if you don't have that structure, the nucleus of the community, which is that family, and you have all of these conflicting interests. There is no way to have that community. And as it stands, there's nothing salvageable with the current situation. So if you're going to have anything that's going to look like a quote black community in the future, you're going to have to destroy what you have now and rebuild it from scratch.
Yeah, and that's what I always say. You got to tear down. You got to tear down the current infrastructure and rebuild it again. You got to put new wine into new wine skins, but people want to put new wine into old wine skins, and it ain't gonna work. It's not gonna work, and it's not gonna be advantageous to men until the laws change, and until you get a woman that's wife ready, haven't been ran through by Raekwon the Man, and don't have kids by 7 or 8, all these various men. Then, like I said, it's no benefit. You know, it's no benefit. Men have to use what's called a cost-benefit analysis to determine if they're going to get married. And many men are saying there's no benefit because you're not getting nothing in return. They don't want to work. They don't want to compete. But at the same time, they get mad when you get a woman that's going to love you, treat you right. She's feminine, she works out, and treats you like a man. But then they just want you to stay and just damn serve for free. And I'm telling men, especially young single men that are not married, man, travel abroad, man, see what your options are, because it sounds like that a lot of guys are finding a hard time finding suitable mates. Yusuf, go ahead, brother. You say you want to add to it. Go ahead.
Yeah, I like how you use a lot of these biblical references. By the way, kosher it's clever.
Oh yeah.
The wine skins, and can't put old wine into new wine skins. That's interesting. And
that's old gospel right there.
Old.
That's old gospel.
Yeah, I was raised on it. To piggyback on that in terms of community, we're talking about tearing down the old community in order to build back up the new community. But the fundamental element that's missing from the equation is simply a lack of God, a lack of biblical principles, and the life of both the man and the woman. Obviously, we know intimately the lack of godliness in women, and many of those in this country. But I think we fail to realize the lack of godliness within ourselves as well.
Right.
And so as a result, and this is not to say, because I love traveling. That's just my thing. In fact, as I make more money, I'm going to be traveling farther abroad. After traveling across the country, I was like, okay, I got to go international. But my intention is a lot different, because I know that the kind of woman that's going to be right for me is going to appear herself to me. And I can go and look for different qualities in different women and say, oh, this woman is prettier, this woman is this and that, and look at it from a physical or my own perspective. But I firmly believe that, and that's just from my experience with people who I know who are not pseudo-Christians, but those who actually practice what they preach, at least to the best of their ability. And those marriages they still lasting. I mean, I can't even think of a situation where in that situation where those people got divorced, and if they did get divorced, I haven't heard of a very bad or nasty, contentious divorce proceeding that took place. It seems to happen amongst those who are godless in many ways, again, on both the male and female part. But when the male, because the onus of that responsibility, of that leadership, does fall on us. So when we're lacking in it trickles down to those types that we gravitate to, or those who gravitate to us, and those whom we seek relationships with, be it here in our country or abroad. So that's why you have this, it looks like an epidemic of whoremongering is really what it is, right? You're going around, I'm dating, I want to go and explore my options. Well, in doing that, it's like a euphemism. It's like when people say, oh, abortion, I don't know if I can say it on here, but
Deletion.
baby deletion, right? And they'll say that, but they won't say it. You're saying it without saying it. It's like, oh, I'm eating beef, but in reality, you're eating a cow, or I'm getting this done, this deletion, but in reality, you're taking the life of someone else. And we know that's what it is. So when we say, oh, I'm just exploring my options, what you're really doing is you're going out to not really date the way that you think dating is, but in 9 times out of 10, it involves some sort of intimacy or sexual contact, which is fine. But it's almost like an escapism. We're escaping from the fact that we lack that connection with God. And so because of that lack of connection, we see the troubles that come as a result of that lack of connection with God and the women around us. And so we go to other pastures and see, okay, well, is it something outside of myself? Is it something there that I can't see? But you can never get fulfilled from that. I mean, I've seen a lot of these different men, they talk about their experiences and eventually they say, well, it gets old after a while. Yes, you have your fun, you do your thing, do your partying, but eventually you do want to settle down. Then when you do settle down, you still get screwed in the end. Maybe you bring the foreign wife to this country, maybe you're dealing with someone, all these kind of issues. But if God is involved, if he is the head, if he's at the very top of all of our lives, then you're going to get the woman's just going to come out of nowhere, seemingly, whether it's from Brazil, from Colombia, from Europe, wherever you are, that person that's for you is going to come. The question is, does that man want to follow in the path of God and according to what Scripture says?
Right.
Not a lot of us do.
But I'll say this, and I'm going to sign off, and I appreciate you, Seth. I think if that man, so this is what I believe. I believe in order to have what's called total optimization, there must be laws that support that man not only in his spiritual jurisprudence, but also there must be society backing and policy backing. You just heard what the man said in that video. He was a Christian man, but he went through hell with the woman trying to change his son into a girl. So you're right in theory. In theory, you're 1,000% correct. But it takes all 3 factors culminating together to help that man become optimized in his fullness and his whole. But anyway, I'm going to sign off in a minute. I Mr. Life Worth Living. You got anything else to say, brother? And thank you, Yusef, before we sign off, brother.
Thank you.
I'll make this real quick. Give these women equality. When she holler that she's strong, independent, don't need no man, and she want to be with you, tell her go outside and mow your lawn.
Yeah, go buy
See what she doing. If she do it, you might got you one. And if she not, just kick it to the curb.
The thing about it is this, man. When it come down to that in a nutshell, somebody said you trying to set men the problem, man. They said you trying to be sneaky. That's why you laughing. Man?
No.
Okay.
No, I'm laughing. I like his comment. It's funny. Okay. They can't. They hire people like me to go and do the hard with the landscaping and the hard dirty work. Can you lift this one? Yeah, I can lift it. It's so heavy. I mean, this is nothing. So yeah, I mean, I get it.
Yeah.
One equality.
They strong independent. Let them lift it.
Yeah. Let them lift it. Let them go out there and chop wood. Yeah,
they don't want to do that. Trust me.
Go let
them go lay bricks.
Yeah, lay bricks and get the rats that's running around. Get the rats that's running around.
Like, you're strong and independent. Get at it.
You know what? That's the interesting point about. I like what you just said, Commission, about tell them to get the rats. Now, have you noticed that I've never met a woman who was not afraid of insects and little rodents and things like that. Have you noticed that? And whenever something like that needs to get killed, they always defer to you. But we're supposed to be equal. You know what I mean? So I remember I'll just give you a quick story. I remember when I was a kid. I'm from Chi-Town, but my relatives, a lot of my family lives in the South. And I was a young boy. We used to kind of go back and forth. I remember because my grandparents, they had a little farm. But then later on, they moved to some apartment complexes. And I was there visiting them. And I remember there was some girls out jumping rope. And a little garter snake or whatever came out. And they screaming and running and crying and all that. And I'm just down there playing around. So I run down there. I get a little rock and I kill the snake, right? No problem. Now I'm a city guy, right? Now you would think these girls, they're Southern girls. They always see little creepy things running around, right? But they're freaking out. I'm the boy from the city, and I'm the one that got to kill the snake. But that just lets you know, naturally, the creator know what he was doing. He just put that in us as men. We're not necessarily afraid of these little creatures and all that instinctively. Our thing is to deal with it, right? And even as a little boy, I might have been 9 and 10 years old, but these girls who are from the South, they screaming and crying, and I had to go in and put in that work. So I learned at an early age, there is no equivalency here. When something like that needs to get done, a man got to do it.
But see, they're equal in everything else but that, right? Anything that requires us.
No, it's got to be across the board. You can't
provide for them, or kill something or go to war. They're equal in everything. So they're equal like in CEO positions, president. I mean, safe, cushy jobs, office work, but not like stuff like garbage man. Like, when have you ever seen a garbage woman? I've rarely seen a woman doing landscaping.
Right.
You don't see them catching out rats. You don't see them killing snakes with rocks. You don't see them doing that. They defer to us for that. But in that, they're not equal. They can admit to that. But everything else, we're equal. So that proves that alone, that because we're not equal. There's obviously a power imbalance, and they're uncomfortable with that.
It's equality of opportunity. But they don't want the equality of outcomes, and that's why it's so convoluted. But anyway, guys, it's been a pleasure. I love you, brothers. We signed off. I got to get ready for work tomorrow, man. But guys, Mr.
Thanks for having me.
Mr. Life Worth Living, no doubt. Shout out to him. You sub, man. Man, you got to stop. You got to tell the Holy Ghost to tell you to come in on time, man. You're a Baptist, man. You got to get.
I was literally praying just before. I didn't even think you were still gonna be on because I checked in like 2 hours ago. I was like, "You still on?"
You got to get to church on time,
always
man.
Like that.
We're gonna rebuke that late demon that you got.
You said that late demon. In Jesus' name.
That late demon. But anyway, man, we about to sign off, man. I love you, brothers, man. About to sign off, all right? I'm gonna drop you guys down.
Thank you. Take care.
All right, brother. Drop you guys down. All right, guys, so this has been another good one, man. You guys did an awesome job on the night, and I told you guys that there are 7 steps that a man must go through in order to become optimized. Listen, guys, you know and I know that the current state of affairs as it relates to marriage does not benefit and respect men. Because of that, men must be very judicious in their responses to how to more or less deal with women in modern times. There are advocates for a more salient black community, but also there are those that say that men should save themselves. I think it's fair to say that men should save themselves, and men are saving themselves. And true to what's been said in the past, guys, this show has been what I call a fire for your mind moment.
Fire for your mind. The kosher tradition.
All right, guys, we're about to sign off. It's been another good one, man. Love you, brothers. But anyway, y'all get you some rest. I got to get up early in the morning and chop it up with the homies, man. Y'all be good, and your brothers be good. And also, guys, do me a favor before y'all sign. The robot said he got bills to pay. Guys, do me a favor before you guys sign off. Go hit that like button and get them likes up and feed that album. Shout out to my man Wild Wills. He hit me with a 20-piece right before I was about to sign off. I appreciate the Wild Wills. Thank you, brother, man. I appreciate the Wild Wills. Fire, no doubt, fire for your mind. And so, guys, we signing off. I might be back tomorrow, so stay tuned for another classic on tomorrow. This was a good stream. And, guys, I'm signing off.
Pain. I've been there, locked up inside my head, broken from fear, illusions, disappointment, and hopelessness. Who heard me in my silence, where being a man means nothing? Despair, I've been there too. Desperately seeking answers for the questions associated with manhood. Hills and valleys, too bleak to compare. Stress, suffering in a utility silo. No comfort, no security, no freedom, no justice. Just do it for others. Challenges. Who will help me break the challenges? Lost in the vortex of darkness, hopelessness, fear, and abandonment. I've been there too. I've been there too. Take the next step to your destiny. Join me in this fight. Walk forward. Deep breaths. Head held high, men. Come join me, men, in the winds of time. Stories, hopes, visions, purified in the fire. I'm not a superhero. And I'm not the Reverend Knight. I'm here to help you. Join me, men, in this fight. Break the chains of your mind. Let's do it now. For now is all we have. Fire for your mind. The kosher clinician.
In the morning, you got me up all cause you need to talk. To 4 in the evening, wanna break up, say that you've had enough. I'm tired of talking, again and again, argue about everything. You are my darling, this kiss and make up, I know you wanna touch. You call me every night, call me every day, I just wanna get you alone now. Trust me when I say